Mouse.
Please do not be alarmed by anything you see or hear around you. You are bound to feel some initial ill effects as you've been rescued from certain death at an improbability level of 2 to the power of 267,709 to 1 against, possibly much higher. We are now cruising at a level of 2 to the power of 25,000 to 1 against and falling, and we will be restoring normality as soon as we are sure what is normal anyway. Thank you.
Wdrn production. Wdrn production staff may be considered complete works of fiction. Any similarity to reality is only due to the conventional rhythm and perspective vortex. Please adjust your perspective, vortex, translator devices for enjoyable listening pleasure. Wdrn can take no responsibility for improperly adjusted perspective vortex translations and currently operating at the frequency of somatic 900 MHz.
Hey y'all, using the agenda here. If you're an independent journalist struggling to get your story out, contact one of our mediators in our chat room for review. Get your story featured on the Hawk Ethernet Radio, part of the Wicked Development Radio Network. Last submission guidelines: video or portion must not be longer than 3 minutes. Only be played with a startup point of 3 minutes. All material submitted to Wdrn is the sole responsibility of the submitter. All content is fair use practice. With your help, Wdrn will rise to the top of all available news networks. This has been Defusing the Agenda.
Mouse. Mouse.
Hello, welcome. I gotta keep on that repeat, don't I? I've got a couple things drawn up here. I'm trying to get some coffee going. We've had a little bit of traffic last night. Oh my God, we did. Let's see here. Oh, this would be cool. Crow 777 and Bruce actually finally got together.
Welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host. We're a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about law enforcement issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. And let me go ahead and introduce our crew to you. Guys, if you don't mind waving when I call your names for people that are watching the video portion of the show, we have Attorney Ward Mythaler. We also have retired Captain Brett Bartlett. We have retired Assistant Chief John Newman. And we have, for the last time technically this evening, active female police officer Cody Ann Cook. So she will be retired Cody Ann Cook the next time you see her on the show. And we also have active lieutenant somewhere in the state of Florida, Rick Ubinus. So thanks, guys, for being on the show. Appreciate it. And John, I called your name, John, didn't I? John usually likes us to mention his name twice on the show, so I just did that. So, and also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Pexip. They're a software platform for unified communication. They make this teleconferencing software that we're using all possible. And we are also syndicated through Good Talk Radio on the Cutting Edge Radio Network based out of Mesa, Arizona. More on them later. All right, let's move on to number 2 then, our second and last main topic. PoliceOne.com again. A judge rules that Leo's, law enforcement officers, schools had no duty to protect students during the Parkland shooting. So this starts to fit in with, remember the defense we talked about last Monday, actually, our last show. when our school resource officer, Broward County Deputy Scott Peterson, who was the Marjorie Stoneman, SRO, and he was saying that he did not have a legal responsibility to protect the students and to, confront the shooter. Well, now we found out that this federal judge ruled that Broward schools and the sheriff's office were not responsible for protecting students during the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. It says the liability, this is the judge's thinking, only works with incarcerated prisoners or others who are involuntarily committed, not school children, quote, with the ability to take care of themselves, unquote. And this is according to a motion filed last week by U.S. District Judge Beth Bloom. Now, I remember, I think it was Brett last week was talking about how the statute reads, where it says that, yeah, we're not responsible or have no statute obligation to protect individuals, but as the general public or an entire class of people, absolutely. Bloom, the judge, dismissed a suit filed by 15 unnamed students who say that they suffered psychological trauma from the shooting that killed 17 people, injured 17 other ones back in February. This lawsuit claimed that the school district, and here's the people that are kind of listed in the lawsuit, the school district, the Broward County Sheriff's Office, the school resource officer who retired Scott Peterson, coward, and school campus monitor Andrew Medina, and former Broward County Sheriff's Office Captain Jan Jordan. Those are the ones that were listed with this thing. And apparently part of their defense, according to this article, it makes it sound like they were claiming that there was no legal obligation to defend the students. It says that the plaintiffs suggest that the essential nature of the public school's role and control over its students requires that schools provide protection and safety for their students. However, the suggestion that school attendance equates to the level of custody implicating a constitutional obligation to protect has been expressly rejected by the 11th Circuit. So this is what the reasoning the judge is using. And it goes on to talk about, the attorney Christopher Wdrn that's representing the students and stuff, saying that they're exploring appealing the judge's decision, which I actually hope that they do. So that said, Brett, jump in. And I think you're the one that made that comment last week, right?
I did, because I've been hearing about this for years. It wasn't a law. It was a case, I think it was out of the D.C. appellate court, maybe in 85 or something like that, where the court ruled that the police have no duty to protect an individual unless there's a contract. In other words, if I say, I'm going to take care of you and I breach that, I'm in trouble. But the police, we deal with the public generally all across the board, because if that were the case, if somebody got beat up, raped, robbed, or got their bike stolen, they could sue the police department each and every time if there was a duty to protect an individual. I mean, what a nightmare that would absolutely be. I disagree with the words in the article that the judge used, but I think the end result is going to be that the police had no duty to protect those people, unless somebody might say, well, there's an SRO there. Doesn't that mean there's a contract? Doesn't mean that yes, we are saying we will protect you. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but maybe Ward could look that up. I think it was in the mid-'80s, the D.C. appellate circuit. I don't remember the case.
If only we had an attorney on the show. That's why we have attorney Ward Mythaler, don't we? So maybe we can get your expertise, Ward, on this, because I am curious, Ward. I tell you, it just makes my blood boil. This Scott Peterson coward, and then of course this defense that his attorney has pulled from him, where they say that he didn't have a legal obligation. But then reading this article and finding out that Sheriff Scott Israel and some of these other people seem to be jumping on the bandwagon, it really just pisses me off. And I don't really blame the public and people on our YouTube channel, freaking out over this, because, the thought of having cops that aren't willing to step up to the plate and do their job, it makes me think that we've got some people that are in the wrong profession. But comments, guys?
Let me explain some things, because you're making some fundamental mistakes here. First of all, I read the complaint. It's a well-written complaint, except for the legal theories are terrible. This guy, by the way, his nickname was Rod. And it stood for, he was known by the cops as Rod. It stands for retired, no, what's it stands for? Retired on duty is what they called him. And I also read in the complaint that they had pulled in about 15 kids that very morning to search their bags for marijuana. And Peterson confiscated $200 from one kid that he had to take his girlfriend to Valentine's dinner that night, then called his mom and accused her of lying when she stood up for him. Listen, what you got to remember about this lawsuit, it's a federal lawsuit. there are no state claims in this lawsuit. And it's based on civil rights liability. It's based on constitutional law. It has nothing to do with state law. And what the plaintiffs were arguing is that there was a constitutional duty to protect these students while they were in school under the 14th Amendment. They also argued 4th Amendment, but primarily the 14th Amendment. And the judge said, quite rightly, in my opinion, that the 14th Amendment is phrased as a limitation on the state's power not to do certain things. And it's not a guarantee of the safety and security of the students. That's not what the 14th Amendment or the U.S. Constitution is all about. It's interesting to me that there were no state claims in this case. There could have been, but I think they would have been thrown out, and I think the plaintiff's attorney probably knew that, and he didn't bring them in. The judge, by the way, did permit a claim to proceed against Peterson for allegedly unconstitutionally going through the kid's backpack, which, I never liked the federal lawsuit. None of these kids were physically harmed, at least. Now, it seems like the state court is contrary to the federal court, but it's not necessarily, because the state judge was applying state law, not federal constitutional law. And she ruled that under state law, there was a duty to protect. I still have not seen a decision. I think it was oral. I haven't read the briefs. I suspect she could well be reversed on appeal on that. I just don't know enough about it. And by the way, going back to the federal case, what the court said is there's no duty to protect unless someone's in custody, like people in jail. And the kids who are in school are not subject to sufficient custody to warrant that sort of protection, even though they are in sort of a quasi-custody, because it's mandatory that they go to school and there's truancy laws. In fact, I would bet anything our inbred sovereign citizens would argue that they are in custody. What I would do, what I think the lawyer ought to do, is go ahead and refile this case in state court and argue that under the state court decision, all these kids were subject or had a right because they weren't sufficiently protected, and see what the state court judge does then, because now you got a dozen or so plaintiffs who were not physically harmed who were claiming the benefit.
Well, you know something? That's bullshit, because as soon as anything like that happens, what happens? The room gets locked down. They are incapable of defending themselves or leaving the school or anything else. So when you lock down a school, that's what the argument is now. And they want to say, oh, well, that has nothing to do with custody and stuff like that. But they can still defend themselves. What are they going to do? Throw Nerf balls at them as they walk in the room? After they smash the door down? You want to know what we're fighting? That's what we're fighting here. This here's from Chief Jones. It was released a few hours ago.
Okay, y'all saw my video. Hey guys, that I posted about the Oklahoma police beatdown of the American veteran. I took some notes. I'm going to refer to those. These are some analytical thoughts on what happened based on my training experience. What I observed. The cashier made claims on the veteran, okay? But it came out as unreasonable acts by the cashier. Okay, in other words, she's complaining that the man was verbally combative, that he argued. Well, he was incensed that as not only a grown man, but in front of his wife and children was done wrong, and that this woman was trying to make his wife and child ID, which is ridiculous. I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. So she's got some issues herself just to start with. Okay, I'm still trying to get an absolute understanding to make sure I'm right about this. Check for yourself, okay? I know in past times this was true, and I want to verify it, and feel free to do it. Every state's different, and I believe it's the same way in Oklahoma. When a man or woman tells you as a police officer a misdemeanor infraction or crime happened, and they did not actually see it themselves, the police officers, then that is for a misdemeanor warrant. So they have to send it in to get a warrant. If they basically decide that she made a complaint, they take a sworn affidavit where if she lies, she's prosecuted for false statement, making a false report to police. Then she signs it under oath that she swears he did whatever it is she alleges he did. Now at that point, then the police can say, okay, now we're conducting a criminal investigation, and based on that, then we're going to demand your identification. Okay? If the woman held in there on the pretense she's going to print out the policy on the Walmart on whatever it is that was alleged, yada yada yada, whatever, then she did that to keep him there. You wouldn't be doing that and trespassing somebody simultaneously, so her story doesn't add up. So he's waiting on this, and she did that to keep him there so that she could get her revenge on him because she was butthurt. And of course the police, male ego, we want to fix her butthurt. We got to look good and powerful and strong in front of her and beat down this American veteran. That's my opinion, but I think it's substantially correct based on the evidence. Now let's go on over here to I didn't hear anything about a disorderly, which is what that would have been a disorderly conduct. Okay, and that would have required them, and if she said, I told him to leave and he didn't, when the police get there, then they have to say, sir, okay, they want you to leave, will you leave? They have to give him an opportunity to leave, and they didn't. There was no charge or allegation of disorderly conduct. And the police got caught up whispering and talking back and forth to each other and huddling and trying to come up with a brain trust on how can we twist and turn this into something where we can show that we're powerful and strong and beat down this police. And it's just incredibly wrong. Wrong. And I listened to local television stations in the area, and they released the statement that the police department released. And if you listen to the statement they did, you go and read Oklahoma law, and you look at what happened, and jot down or put it on where it'll closed caption. No, it ain't closed caption, is it? Anyway, it's where it gives everything out on the bottom of the screen they're saying. I don't know how to do that, but if you do it, and you analytically go back and look, critical thinking again. Go back, take notes. What's the first thing you see to the last thing you see? And what did they do in the order? What I'm saying is, if they had a felony charge, which they didn't, and then they said, we're arresting you for this felony charge, which would be number one, then you have to ID. But if they don't have the authority to arrest on a misdemeanor a citizen witnessed on scene without a warrant, and they say, I'm arresting you for the charge of disorderly conduct based on this woman's misdemeanor complaint that we didn't witness, and you are now under arrest. Well, only if that was lawful, then could they ask for the ID secondary. And then when they asked for that, then if he didn't give it, it'd be obstruction. But not if the arrest was unlawful. So you, one, must have a lawful arrest. Then, two, you must fail to ID after the arrest. Not while you're talking about it. And they gave him no opportunity to leave as far as trespass. I never heard disorderly conduct. If you did, go ahead and put a comment in. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll be doing another critical thinking video here pretty quick. And I got some notes. What's my next thing going to be? I'm going to do it on police training and police action. Okay? And then I'm going to do a critical thinking. So those will probably be the next two I do unless something big comes up. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.
That was Judge Jones on the recent event at Walmart in Muskogee, Oklahoma. We might be bringing that up again. Hello, thank you for joining Anonymous Farm, and for the rest of our lurkers, it's absolutely welcome. We are a radio station first, I guess. I want to show this because about 30 days ago, I begged these two guys to put their brains together. I also asked them to do something extremely unique. Now, both of these guys are observing movement and structures on the moon. One of the biggest problems with the claims that NASA makes is that none of the photographs in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, regardless of how many different ways these things were photographed, or different cameras, were not stereo cameras. Now, there is many times through the 60s and 70s that if the photograph, and this is the claim of the scientists and NASA, that if the photograph that was taken was a photograph that was a stereoscopic photograph, like the photographs that, you know, you put in that thing and adjust and then you can see 3D. Yes, those. That it would be undeniable and absolutely conclusive proof of what they actually saw. But seeing the fact that they didn't have stereoscopic telescopes, that the photograph had to have been faked in some way. These gentlemen are far enough apart where they could easily set up a stereoscopic observation of the moon and verify the movements on the moon by synchronizing where they are focused on the moon. This is so serious that I don't think that they've actually done it yet. But this is the first time I've seen this video. And it's the first time, to my knowledge, these two have gotten together on the phone, in person, whatever. So this here is something we're going to cover right now. I'm anxious to see. And I have coffee this morning. Oh, I want to say thank you to a contributor yesterday. It was through PayPal. I know who it was. I want to say, man, you're wonderful. Thank you. However, I also want to mention actually just the fact that I'm very, very grateful. I'm really trying to keep this thing together. Finances have run out the side. I've gone for a year here. And I haven't asked, and I haven't put out the PayPal or things until the last couple of months. I was able to keep things afloat from that. If you can donate $5, it's just as powerful as donating $100 at this point. So if there's any possible way that you can donate in order to keep this project going, I more than appreciate it. But this is not for me. This platform is going to be for everybody. Eventually, someone else is going to sit in this chair and do nothing more than make sure that the programs that you submit are showing up at the right times on the right days. That's what this chair, this job is supposed to be in this chair. It's nothing more than a program director and arranging scheduling. So all the material and all the effort in order to keep this project going has to come from the outside. We have to have something in order to submit, in order to complain about. And believe me, I cannot match the hundreds of people out there that are doing audits, questioning the police, actually making news reports. I cannot compete with 100 people and be proficient at it. I can be proficient at this job here. And I can get financing, I can help other people get production costs, but I have to establish this first so that when I go to an advertiser or somebody that would try to back us, not with $5 or $10 or $20, but a couple of $100 a week, okay, or $500 a month, that these people are willing in order to sit there and invest in a project that they can actually see is functioning and working. All right. Let's move on here to Bruce Sees All, and get this, Crow 777. Now, people, you probably have heard of Bruce Sees All here, but you haven't heard too much of Crow 777. He discovered something hands down weird about the moon. You're going to have to find that out yourself. And it's probably mentioned here.
And this is Crow 777. I'm here talking with Bruce Sees All, and Jason Lindgren is actually doing the recording for us. And I just want to say, hey, Bruce, I'm really glad to meet you. I've been looking at some of your work over the past few weeks.
Thanks a lot, man. It's a pleasure, you guys, meeting up with you guys. And much respect of your work, man. The Lunar Wave, awesome. And the UFO video with the afterburners, and amongst the many other things. I'm really happy to get the chance to say hi to you today.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't seen your complete setup, but I think I've seen the back of it. I want to talk scopes in a minute, but I want to get on the record. There's a lot of censorship going on YouTube, and you got nailed. 2 of your videos. Actually, while we were trying to undo one video that you got nailed on, while we were emailing, you got nailed on another video. Yeah. And I raised holy hell, and I understand you got an apology email finally, and that was all straightened out. From what I understand, you are whitelisted now. That's not in my power, but I immediately recognized this had to be the automatic systems that have to do with how the ads run on YouTube. But anyhow, I just wanted to get it out to all your people. I don't do censorship, man, not cool, but I was hoping we could take a minute to talk telescopes. So from some of your images, I think I can see the back of your scope. Are you running a 14 actually?
Yeah, it's a 14-inch Celestron telescope, CGXL.
Wow.
Has HD options on it. It's an amazing telescope. I'm really happy to have gotten a chance to do it. At the back, I have a DSLR. It's it's a Nikon D3400, 24 megapixels, no zoom, of course. The zooming, I'll do it digitally, with regular programs on my computer. But trying that out, this is the first year, and it's pretty incredible. It's clear, good for small details and stuff.
You got some serious tools. So you and I are slightly different. I have an 11.24-inch Celestron, but as you know, every inch bigger, you get hundreds of % more light collection, because basically telescope's collecting lights, what it's doing. But so your DSLR is right to the rear cell of your Schmidt Cassegrain, if I'm understanding you correctly, which is how I did it. I have a D800E Nikon, and the only reason I'm mentioning it, by the way, it does have 36 megapixels at the time. Wow. That was the most you could get, and that's really in the editing room. That's where you get your extra zoom and stuff. But the cool thing about that camera is the E. They made it for a very short period of time, and then they went to like an 810 or something. But that E tells you that the pixels are not dithered. So when you're picking up small objects, there's no dithering on the pixels. And you and I were just talking about like the thruster craft thing that I filmed in front of the moon. That's the real thing. But I'll tell you what, with the power and reach of the tools you just described to me, you're in a position to uncover some very important things. In my view, the moon has been misdescribed. I think you and I have a slightly different view of the moon, but it doesn't matter to me, man. Anyone who's out doing the work has my respect.
Absolutely, man. I have still yet to look into a lot deeper in what you're doing. Of course, there's so many people out there doing things, but we may have different perspectives. But I'll tell you what, I really appreciate really appreciate your work. You got some really fine stuff out there, and you said it, like the small detail, that pixelation, you know, is not there, and we could really see the fine detail by slowing things down and you know, doing the magic with the editors. But finding an actual craft like you did with the burners, well, it takes a lot.
777. Thank you, Anonymous. Yes, the lunar wave is a real problem. I honestly think I know what it is. I honestly think I know what it is because of the symmetry that it moves. Also, it's based on a very, very old satellite view of the moon, and it shows all these wonderful spires sticking up off the moon. Now, what's weird about it is I cannot find those spires on anything newer, and each one of those spirals had a little black dot on top of it. What I think that is an electronic camouflage, or it's something like HARP holding the atmosphere, what little is of the atmosphere there is there, to the moon. And every now and then it needs reset. Okay? And it'll sit there and reset, and it'll cause a wave to travel when it is reset. Okay, through the atmosphere of the moon. Now, mind you, the moon does have atmosphere. It's well documented that the spacesuits were leaky as hell, and they didn't have any shielding, but the fact is they leaked. They leaked. So what happened, and why was that not a concern? Well, it's not like you're in open space in an absolute zero. That's why. I don't remember what the what is it, millibars pressure is on the moon, but I do know that there is atmosphere on the moon. All right, so let's continue.
You have a good scope. An 11 is an amazing scope. I jumped. I didn't get a chance to try the between the scopes. I went from a 4, almost a 5 scope to the 14. But still, just amazing stuff that we could see on the surface there. And you said it. The moon is not exactly what people think it is.
No.
It's a lot different.
No, it's not. And we should say for the record, I know you're getting to have quite a number of followers, so you're probably going to have people asking you about scopes, you know, because they want to get in and they want to be part of things. So I'll throw my piece in here, and maybe you have a point of view, but I used to be a Meade guy. I have an old 8-inch Meade, which is what I filmed the first lunar wave.
I'd like to address the comment made by Anonymous Farm. That is true and that is not. You can, depending on, you know, the leak, okay, if you take a knife and slice it, yeah, okay, fine. But if we're talking about a leak that's going out around the seams through stitching and stuff like that, it would be rather easy in order to maintain your pressure in the suit. Now, don't forget that if you go to, let's say, do some underwater diving, that you can get the bends. Okay, it's very dangerous. And if you went from the planet Earth to the planet Moon, even though, or excuse me, the Moon, even though the isobars is not that great, you're still going to suffer from that. Okay, it does have atmosphere, but it's a lot less. Now, one of the things that they did, okay, is they depressurized slowly the landing module so as to allow biological existence there. They had a long way in order to depressurize, in order to get to the moon. And what they did is they literally depressurized the command capsule to allow these people not to have a bends when they got there. I do remember reading about that. I don't remember exactly why I was reviewing that, but it was a footnote that you can find that recurs in the medical information that they have. So yes, no, it's a true thing. If you actually have a leak in a zero environment, you're just simply going to explode in your suit. Literally, it's just going to plaster your suit. Basically like an exploding fish. It comes out of the ocean. You brought it up too fast, it's going to bloody well explode.
With Schmidt cast grain scope, but back in the 90s it was all made in the US steel. That thing is still a tank, still trucking along. So come to the modern age when I've quit all my corporate work and I've said to hell with this, I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm sitting down to film for the next 4 or 5 years to produce all the footage I did. I get a 12-inch Meade telescope, and that thing just fails time after time. Meanwhile, the scopes are no longer made in the U.S. They're being made down in Tijuana, and I think a Chinese company has bought them out, actually. But my point here is, if people ask me what to get, I always say, don't get a small scope. You'll outgrow it quick. You want at least 6 or 8 inches, like at least 8 inches probably, but do not buy Meade. Do not do it. They're junk compared to what they do, and I always point them to Celestron, and I guess you would probably have a word about that, because there you are. For a while, you couldn't get 14-inch Celestrons, so how are you digging that scope?
It's just amazing. You know, I was looking into, I said maybe they were making 16s. I don't even know. I honestly don't even think they do. No, they don't. That's right. So I'm digging it. It's amazing. It's different than what I thought, though. You know, when I got the scope, I did it that quick that when, you know, you get a scope, there's no zoom button on the scope. There's no, I mean, you know, you get the scope and I'm saying, wow, thousands of dollars, and I'm just looking at the moon anyways. And I was nervous at the beginning saying, I hope that I'll be able to do something with the footage, but you said it's by, you know, the high definition, or your 36 megapixels. Well, that's what gives you the power to do the zooming, the editing, you know, widening, whatever you have to do to be able to zoom in. And I am just loving it. You know, I started with insects, man. I started here on Earth because obviously we're Earthlings, and I started doing insects and getting in close. Ants, anything small to try to show, you know, alien life forms, but on Earth, like animals and insects. That's what I was trying to show. But it's the same thing now. I'm having as much fun trying to get into the surface of the moon. And yeah, I noticed that before even zooming in, around the moon, there's all this activity going around.
Did you film your insect work? That's something I would love. You know, I almost added to my channel back in the day. We got kind of a crappy digital microscope, and it ended up not being good enough. But I'd be interested in that too. Did you ever post any of the work you did with insects?
I believe I have some very basic videos, maybe 5 or 10 on YouTube itself. You'd have to skim through them in the older videos for sure, but it's exactly what you were trying to do, is that I wanted to, you know, slow motion, zoom into, like National Geographic. They have all these amazing things that we see in the nests of birds, and I was going to bird sanctuaries and just the insects. It's just incredible getting even insects on the flowers with the water, the ants drinking out of the center of the flowers, and it was all this new world I was trying to document, but it was at the same time as I was doing this, and I sort of got carried away with space work. But I promise you, if ever I look into my things and I do see some, I'll definitely share them with you, Crow. It would be a pleasure.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. But I want to talk turkey for a minute, because I noticed that what I ended up doing was what most astronomers or amateur astronomers are told not to do, and that's film a full moon, full frame, not zoomed in. And the reason I did it is because by accident on I think it was the super moon of 2012, my nephew and I were looking through eyepieces. I didn't even have a way to film, and he goes, Uncle, there's a triangle. And I'm all, what? And I'm thinking, damn, I missed it. Well, wow. Sure enough, for hours we sat there watching these black triangles go between the end of my scope and the moon. So that's how I started the filming thing. But most people, and I wonder about this too, you know, you're told don't bother looking at a full moon, there's no shadows, it's boring, nothing is going on, and I can't argue with that. You will put in the hours, but that's how I accidentally filmed the 2012 wave. But I'm noticing you're in close, so I've got to ask, are you doing eyepiece projection, or how are you getting up close on it like that?
Nope, not at all. It's all done. Like all the filming I do is filmed with the camera at the back, my DSLR, and it has no zoom, so it's just straight up 24 megapixel filming the surface of a 3,910 focal length in width of the thing. And then it's afterwards. What I do is I do all the zooming in with an editor, and no exceptional editor so far. Nothing. I could do it with a free editor. The same work can be done with a free editor.
There's something to be said for that, Bruce. You know, I'm actually a good animator and I'm a good graphics guy. But when I first started posting objects that I caught, people kept accusing me of creating it in an editor. So I was always careful to do very little editing. And like if I changed something, put it in frame, brightness was changed or 500% zoom. But so you, with your big old honking 14-inch scope, you cannot even come close to full framing the moon, can you?
Absolutely not. No.
Wow.
I have to have I have a regular P900 or my Fujifilm. I'll at the same time, if I want to add that in the video, I have to film it with the camera, because in no way I see about a quarter of the moon. That's about what I see, and which I didn't know even with the 5 and 6 inch scope, 5-inch scope when I had gotten it. I was like, whoa, this is wide, you know, because it was a 1500 millimeters, the one I had. And I wish, though, I would be able to zoom out with that telescope enough for me. You know, I know we can with the eyepieces and stuff like you say, but I haven't gone into that at all. Just straight up, like you said, the camera at the back. And the little bit of filtering that I use is the X-ray filtering, which is basically 99% the inversion. It's just changing the surface colors of different areas. What's dark becomes bright, and what's bright becomes darker, or tones and colors. But an amazing view. But I'm noticing these little things going by, and they can't all be satellites. But I can only see them when I slow down the footage. I'm not seeing any UFOs on the surface unless I slow it down at all. You see blinks of light and stuff like that, but there's something up there, you know. I haven't even gotten a UFO between Earth and the moon yet with the telescope. I've never showed one, you know. And with the smaller telescope, I was getting so many UFOs between Earth and the moon. But now, for some reason, either they stopped zooming around, but I'm pressed up on the surface and I see them. And obviously, since I'm so close, I'm probably not seeing the ones that are around the moon, because I'm, you know, the light. You know how the telescope works when you get off the moon? Well, you just lose that image, and it gets very bright unless the whole telescope is on the surface. And like you say, with the full moon, we don't get much on the full moon. So it's a cool story. You said that you actually got it during the full moon when the moon was wider, because the same here, you know, you try to film the moon and you don't hardly see anything. It's just so darn bright. So.
Well, you've got to, at that point, you've got to, you know, you're not going to use auto settings on the camera. You're going to crank down your ISO and your aperture and things like that. Then a scope your size will be able to look, because without a filtering system, I know exactly where you're coming, but you can deal with it with manual settings. But yeah. I'll add this. As time when I first started doing this and filming all the time, I was perfectly ready to accept satellites, and I was even looking at all the tools that project, because I wanted to film one crossing the moon. And so all these times there was a transit and I'd be out there and nothing would happen. So as I began to look into it, I began to realize a number of things about satellite, which is why I say now satellites do not exist as they're described. Don't accept them. Now, there's tons of these little black round things, which I'm sure you must have filmed. If you haven't, you will. They're almost like balloons. And I've always wondered, I consider it all human technology, everything that I've filmed, and I'll explain why in a second. But there are these little black round things that almost look like balloons. They're at different levels and heights, and they're up there all the time. And many people have filmed them. Richard 205 Maria in New York, New Jersey, Randy in Houston, other people who had good, solid scope equipment and camera confirmed that these little black round things that I've posted, so many of them are up there all the time. I suspect that's human technology doing maybe what satellites do or something else. But here was my breakthrough moment. I was minding my own business one day, kind of like when YouTube flagged your video and put my name on it. Yeah. and I found out that the Huffington Post had taken one of my clips and ran it in the Huffington Post and then had an FBI expert and of all people, the head of MUFON, claim this is clearly a satellite and half geosynchronous orbit that Crow has filmed, and clearly he doesn't understand his tools. And by then I'd had enough. So, and I'll give you this tip right now. There's a place in Oceanside, California called Oceanside Photo and Telescope, OPT Online, one of the best scope shops, one of the biggest left in the country. There's a guy there who is an optics expert. So I'd had enough of these guys bad-mouthing me in their newspaper with FBI. I don't know what the FBI would know about anything, but they get an FBI expert in the head of MUFON. So we go to calculate my exact Schmidt-Cass grain with my exact DSLR to figure out physically what the width of a pixel would be at half geosynchronous, which is 11,000 miles.
Comes down to that.
So geosync would be 22,000 miles, and they're saying clearly Crow filmed something in half geosync. So we do all the calculations, and I take the object and I measure it, and I forget what it was, like 5 pixels across or something. And they even tried to say that a couple pixels had to be reduced because, and you know, I told you I was using an 800E. There's no dithering, so I even subtracted a couple pixels. I do the calculation, and the object would have had to be something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times the size of the ISS if they were right. And I did this with a number of my things, and as I began to understand, and I got a new system, and the same guy, optics expert at OPT, helped me calculate exactly those values, I began to realize that everything I filmed was much closer, and in my view, all human technology. And I think you and I might differ a little there, but that's how I arrived, partially how I arrived at where I am.
No, I mean, I am so, that's amazing, by the way, all the way up to Huffington Post, because they do that, eh? They can grab your stuff and just post it. But, you know, we may not be that different as you think, because I'm telling you, I really have an open mind to many things. And I have in my head both sides. What we're seeing up there is not necessarily all alien, and maybe none of it is, and that I will never rule it out. And you're saying that it could be all human and all high technology from us, like military or whatnot, secret societies, anything. I would believe that. I would believe that 100%. I'm not going to rule that out, and it could be very well true. Also, because it's easy for them to say, "Wow, they're going to think it's aliens, and we're going to, you know, be able to freely roam around. We'll even come and abduct a couple people once in a while, take them away, you know." It's real. But I remain open-minded, and I respect a lot of the researches that you're doing, and a lot of other people are doing, for sure.
So one of the most amazing things, or not amazing, but one of the most inexplicable things that I filmed was when I was doing the chemtrail work all the way back when absolutely no one would accept that chemtrails were a real thing. I kept seeing all these things they call orbs, and they were always around chemtrails. So finally one day, my wife yells at me, "Hey man, get out here. There's orbs all over these low chemtrails." We could see them with our eyes, which was unusual. A lot of times we filmed and we didn't know till we reviewed the film, but we could see, we knew they were there, tons of them. So I picked one with a handheld shot with a 16 megapixel Canon T2i of all things and a 35 millimeter lens, and I'm sitting there watching the one that I just chose to watch. All these things are flying through frames. This cotton candy crap is falling out of the sky. And my wife's yelling at me, honey, you got to get the scope out. And I'm thinking, God, I want to get the scope out, but by the time I film it, I'll miss all this. So I was afraid. I was afraid to put the camera down. So I'm filming it, and lo and behold, the damn thing shoots like 2 plasma beams out of the orb into the chemtrail. And to me, that's posted. It's called The Shooting Orb on my channel. But for the longest time, I was wrestling, you know, what the hell is this? And so to cut to the chase here, in my view, this is human tech, and not maybe a year and a half, 2 years after I had filmed The Shooting Orb, a guy, and I don't even think his channel's up anymore, sent me footage from, I think it was Oahu, where the skies are really clear, and he filmed a military plane dropping what looks exactly like orbs. And I thought, that's interesting. And it wasn't identical, but close enough where it got me thinking. But from my point of view, anyone who goes and looks at The Shooting Orb will be thinking, damn, what the heck is that? I mean, I shot it, and I still to this day think, what the heck is that? But
So-
to me, for anything to ever be alien, I mean, it would have to be one astounding piece of footage, and I don't know what it would have to have. It would have to have something really going for it for me to consider that anymore, because of the amount of research Jason and I have done, where basically places like Tavistock claim the modern alien agenda. We've gone through the documents and everything, but you should check it out. I'll send you a link after this to the shooting orb.
I appreciate that.
Another thing is, you got a big ass 14-inch scope, and I got to the point where I could take my 11 and by hand, with just the hand controls going on, I could track a chem plane if the trajectory was right. Your 14-inch scope on chemtrails, if you ever shot an orb, man, you might be able to look in the window and tell us what they really are.
That's awesome, man. And I'm going to take your suggestion on it. You just intrigued me so much talking about orbs, because I didn't know. Of course, you have a lot of research. I'm going to have to go through a lot to find out everything you've gotten. But listen, I've gotten daytime orbs right here in Montreal, Quebec. And I've come to the understanding that some areas, these objects are frequent. Like, I don't know, where exactly were you when you were filming this, Crow? Whereabouts are you?
San Diego. And as I first started to do it, they were frequent. And as time went on, it became very difficult to catch anything. But I have a lot of daytime footage. There's a lot of weird, I don't even care if there's no orbs. Anyone who points a camera up, a good camera during the day, and does it, an hour or two regularly, you're going to catch things.
For sure. For sure. No, I really appreciate you sharing that. That's incredible. And it's so interesting. You also talk about them shooting out something, because you see, I have these orbs. I was describing them as shooting out other orbs. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, or maybe it's not the same kind of event. But that's really intriguing me, because it looked like a yo-yo. It would swing around, come out, and go back into the center of the light that was coming out. And of course, this was all happening so bloody fast. It was so hard to slow it down, but I did. And I showed 1 or 2 videos of that. And you see that the orb is spitting out other orbs. That's all I can say, is that it's spitting them out. But I don't know. That was intriguing to me. So those orbs, it's an energy, So yeah, it could be intelligence. It could be human intelligence, of course. But I mean, they got this down pat. If it's human intelligence.
Well, I can add this. The one, if you go look at the shooting orb clip, and there's a couple versions of it up on my channel, it drops into the chemtrail from up above. And meanwhile, by the way, I know I'm filming. This is not one of those cases where you're reviewing footage and you go, whoa, what's that? I mean, we knew we were doing it. So the chemtrail was being pushed to the south by the wind, and the orb comes into the chemtrail angling to the north, and as it gets into the chemtrail, it changes its trajectory and goes against the wind, totally to the north. But as you're mentioning what you filmed with orbs, it almost like, if I wanted to describe someone in a sensible way, what it looks like, it could almost be like static electricity. Like if you have an electrified body and a spark jumps off of it, and what you're describing too, it's almost like that. But
you said cotton candy too, so right off the bat I related to that. It's just this a white smudge, but the smudge is perfect, if you know what I mean. It's right. It's smudging, but it's bright, and it's remaining its shape. It's keeping its shape. It's just like continuously blurring itself somehow. And it's not the sun. Sometimes you look at these orbs and you go, it's not the sun that's doing that. It's just they're reflecting themselves. Seems like they're reflecting themselves. I don't know.
So check this out. There's another piece of footage on my channel where it was, my wife had gotten up significantly earlier, and when we were in San Diego, it was very easy for me to get my scope out, and I had to have a surgery and stuff, so I still got a little more to go before I can haul out my honkin' 11. I don't know how you deal with your 14, because
sore backs, man. Sore backs, I said.
Yeah, it's dangerous because you don't want to drop anything, and you can't touch the tube or you'll mess up your tracking. But anyhow, my wife, I come out and she's all, man, I've been waiting for you to get up. Look. And she points due east, and there is a big old honking orb just sitting there. And she's got my camera out, and she's had one of the cameras on it. So I go get the better camera. That thing sat there for hours until the chemtrails covered it up. But what you can notice about it, if you look at the footage, is the lighting is not constant, and it's not perfectly round either. But that is a hell of a good piece of footage if those are the same things. Sometimes it feels like the orbs that are around chemtrails are like perfectly round, but you don't know how far away from them you are. This thing was just barely drifting, and I mean, I was getting out all my tools to see if there was a tether holding it to the ground or something. That's how stationary it was. But it wasn't. It was an orb, and eventually the chem planes covered it up. But I've got fantastic footage of that thing sitting in one spot for hours.
That's incredible, eh? When you say that it's all over the world, all these sightings and stuff like that, and why the orbs, you know? There's so many things that we don't know about. Maybe the orbs have nothing to do with the UFOs, or maybe the UFOs are the orbs, or...
I don't think they're UFOs. I think it's human tech, and I think it has directly to do with the chemtrails. The chemtrails is a global thing, and I go so far, weather isn't even forecast anymore. It's scheduled. That's the way I view it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you another thing. There was another piece of footage I shot that got picked up all over, and it was partially because I was new to being a public figure, and I did a thing I shouldn't do, and I named the clip Chem Bomb. Today that would be called clickbait. What it actually was we had a break in the chemtrailing, and we saw the first plane come in low, and so I ran in to get my equipment. And while I was doing it, my wife looked up and goes, "Look, there is a huge orb." And I saw it. And so this time I run in, I grab my 8-inch, I drag it out, don't even plug it in. I'm doing this all manual. And so, you know how hard it is to do that. So by luck, I get it in the viewfinder and I'm filming. And so this whole time, and one of the versions I posted, you can hear the conversation we're having, like, oh my God, these orbs are so much bigger than we thought they were. And I'm saying things like this, and all of a sudden the thing blows up. Boof! And all these particles start raining to the ground, and this like tether that was inside it with a little like white or red light on it fell. I realized instantly it's not a weather balloon, but it's exactly like a weather balloon. And what had happened, as far as we can tell, is the first plane came through, my wife spotted it, we set up, and as we were setting up, the second plane came through. So I've described that wrong. The second chemtrail came, and then my wife spotted it, but we're pretty sure, we didn't see it, that the object I filmed was dropped right out of the second plane because it was a flight path. First of all, and you can't just let weather balloons go anywhere. These planes were flying right there, but that's posted as well, and it gives some insight into them monitoring themselves, because I always imagined, I filmed it until my roof blocked me, and it fell into like crowded neighborhoods and all the crap raining down that came out of it, but I could see the little red, like, black box thing. Then I could imagine that it said, call this number if you find this or something. They were collecting data. Yeah, they must have been pretty clear to me that it was a balloon-like device they dropped out of a plane to collect data on their chemtrailing.
That's incredible. So these orbs, probably you think that they would have to do absolutely with the chemtrails, and the chemtrails having to do with like you said, the scheduling of the weather or something, right? Here's the thing. It got to the point where we realized if you want to film an orb, there have to be chemtrails. Then it got to a point where we realized we've never seen an orb if there aren't chemtrails. And then one day, and it was around the time that I filmed that 3-thruster human machine that at the time seemed like a spacecraft to me almost. But that human tech, it was either the day before or day after, if I remember correctly. I might not be remembering that right. I see an orb and it goes by the moon, and I'm all, what the hell? So I get my scope on it, and you know what it did? It went all the way across the sky to get to a chemtrail. Yeah, and see, this is what I'm seeing the orbs doing. See, I thought somehow that it was a highway, right? Well, I mean, I'm talking hypothetically in basic. I'm not adding in any info with what I'm saying, but it can be a highway. Like, the orb is the same reflectivity as the chemtrail itself. We're not going to see it unless, like you said, noticing it, slowing it down. But they're there. They are there. Different sizes, different shapes, basically always cylindrical, oval, but some of them are like cotton candy, like you said, that blurry sort of thing. But what the heck are they? I don't know. But they're everywhere. I'm seeing them too. And could some of these orbs be seen at night? Some of the UFOs that are spotted, could it be some of those orbs?
Well, That's another good question, because it got to the point in San Diego, there was a period of time when I couldn't film the moon because there were so many chemtrails, and we began to ask the same question. Look how bright these orbs are. They look like little balls of light. Even when they're in a white chemtrail, you can see this little ball of light most times. And so we started saying, you know, we see them around chemtrails all the time. Why can't we see them at night? So I was busy trying to film, and that led me towards getting a full spectrum camera. So then I go out and I buy, I don't even know the model. I'd have to go look at the Canon with 24 megapixels. Yeah. But there's a place, I don't know if it's called Spencer's. No, it's not Spencer's. It's something else. It's in Utah or something like this. This dude takes them and he converts the chip cover so that it films a little into IR, a little into UV, and visual spectrum. And it gives you, like, your footage just has a pink look. But truth be told, you're not getting very far. It's full spectrum, just not very far into either spectrum. The reason for that is in the 70s, they changed the laws. Old tools made like in the early 70s go way into IR and UV, but the military said people can't have these anymore for some reason. I forget what the story was. Yeah, old Russian stuff from the early 70s goes ways in the spectrum, but that's when I got that.
The best stuff. That's why people are using some old equipment.
Exactly.
People are laughing at them. In reality, they're not the same. You know, it's like, no, I totally agree with that.
So it got to the point with the full spec that I could look through chemtrails and see the moon. As a matter of fact, one of the lunar waves I caught is rather bizarre, because I'm filming the moon, and I had both cameras. I have my really good Nikon piggybacked on top of my scope with a honkin' telephoto and a doubler, so it's looking at the moon. So on the back of the scope, I have my full spectrum camera. Pretty soon, the regular camera piggybacking can't see through the chemtrails. I just turn it off. But the full spectrum is still peering through. They're getting so bad, the chemtrails, that it's starting to ruin my vision. And I'm talking on the phone as I'm doing this, and all of a sudden, all the chemtrails part, and lo and behold, a lunar wave goes by, and then all of the chemtrails cover back in over the moon. And I got that all with the full spec camera.
Yeah, well, so, Troy, don't mean to cut you off, but do you agree with me, maybe, possibly, you know?
Hey, you know, a lot of our people that are in here not only are into structured water and stuff like that, but they're also aware of something called an Wdrn generator. Now, something I have not experimented with myself, because when I had access to an Wdrn generator, they didn't exist, at least not in Iowa, and that's chemtrails. I do not know if an Wdrn generator will cut through a chemtrail the same way it will cut through a cloud. Again, I'll repeat that. I do not know if an Wdrn generator will cut through a chemtrail the same way if it cuts through the cloud. Anonymous Farm, maybe you have something on that. But yeah, submarine, sure, call in. I'll be happy in order to cover it, but I'm not going to cover it solo. That specific topic requires a two-way conversation with feedback, so I know that you're following what I'm trying to explain to you. And just acting an idiot will still show that. Well, I know it is an Wdrn generator, Anonymous. I honestly have a problem with that. Now, if it is actually a energy release and a chemtrail is particle, whereas a cloud is a visualization of air pressure difference, where there's condensing going on in order to create small droplets. That means that there has to be a difference in pressure there as well. Okay, now as a Wdrn generator will cut through that, it'll change the conditions in which that condensation is created. Regardless of what effect it actually has, the one thing that can be observed is it does change it. Now, the question now is, will that work on particulates, dispersing particulates? And then if it does work on dispersing particulates, have we just sit there and assessed or made the efficiency of the distribution of whatever it is that they're putting out there that much more powerful because it's now more finely dispersed. That's an interesting question. Or we could be energizing these particles to do even worse. If they're nanotechnology and they're subject to any form of energy that makes them warp, change, or actually begin to operate, we could be also increasing the dangers there. So some of this, I mean, really does need to be researched. You need to capture what they are spraying, and I do know that I believe it's 60 or 70% coal slurry. And the reason why I know that is there is a coal burner in Romeoville, Illinois. Just a second, let me bring up this in the window. Wow, I'm going to get all upset looking at Romeoville again. This used to be my town. Joliet, Bolingbrook, Naperville, Downers Grove. People, I used to make so much money along 98. I'd sit there, I'd go out with a one-man crew, me and one other guy. And we'd come home with $1,200, $1,500 in minor repairs and stuff by the end of the day. I used to be able to finance a lot of different things then. This here is Lockport. Directly across the canal is Romeoville. The coal burner sits right here. Let me show you. No, that's not 135th. Here's 100. No, that is 135th. That's 9th Street. Where am I here? Oh, there's the airport. Okay, yeah, I'm way north. Or south. Now, this here is the old Union 76 refinery. That's New Avenue, 127th Street. This here is the location where the airport I described years ago, 127th Street. The runway used to run right here. That ain't right now. This might be what used to be the runway here. I'm not sure how to time-lapse this, but anyway, right here is mounds and mounds of coal. Now, normally there's barges here coming in and out constantly. There is a photograph of a railroad train that came along here, failed to stop, hit the end, and wound up parked right here in the middle of this road. I took, here's the end of the track right here, and it came out and it was buried in the ground right here after it hit that stop. It failed to stop. And that had to be pulled back onto the tracks. What they did is they grabbed it and they just literally pulled it back where it came from. And then jumped the tracks from there. But they didn't even tip it over. It was quite an amazing recovery. That was actually pretty impressive. But I was my first photographs of being where I wasn't supposed to be, and that was published in the Joliet Herald, I believe. There's the photographs that I had taken from that. But nonetheless, here's your coal burner here. You got great big smokestacks up. You can hardly tell. This is taken pretty close to noon, not to have any shadows. There's your smokestacks right here. Okay, there's 4 of them. And the barges are lined up here and pick up coal slurry, and our inquiry was where that stuff was going. It was one of the inquiries that we had. You want to see where I used to live? This here is the Romeoville Police Station right here. Fire department across the street. At least at that time. This is Dolhart Avenue right here. This used to be my house right here. Wow, they put a swimming pool in the backyard. Boy, that took up the rest of the yard, and they got rid of the tree that used to grow there. Then they have built something else here. They put another shed behind the garage. And they put up a trampoline, it looks like. Okay. But you can fit dang near 8 cars in this driveway. Okay. This is 428. Looks like some of the landscaping I did here is still here. Okay. But this used to be where I used to live. This is where I've been banished from because of legal impossibilities. This is Bolingbrook up here, where a lot of my customers were. Well, I'll be darned. Wdrn. I'm sorry? Why would that be? Over where? Nope. Eh? What a wonderful, weird call I'm getting. Hell no. Because I don't think you're an old lady. I'll tell you what. Tune in YouTube. Go to yeah. So we have prankdial.com. People want to talk about something else, I guess. That's all right. We can do that. Anyway, whoops. I had that miniaturized. Sorry about that. But, yeah, I know about the coal slurry. Okay. Ocean ion fertilization. Truth about... No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. All I got to do is that far global warming. Bullshit. Okay, but I mean, he could invert it and say something. Let me tell you what global warming is. You want to actually check this out? It's called Suspicious Observers. And no, Anonymous, I'm not trying to belittle what you put up there. There has to be something there that's valid that you're actually centering on. what actually causes any cold, any warm. It's that thing sitting in the sky. It goes through cycles. Currently, it is going into an ice age cycle. So tell me, what do you think about global warming if we're going into an ice age cycle? And that is well documented. I learned about that in elementary school. Up, Missy, up. Good girl. That's Missy's. That's Missy's. Okay. Up. Good girl. That's yours. Okay. We're in training here a little bit today. Anyway, yeah, I learned about that in school, man. I don't know what the heck has happened. I don't know why people, you know, oh, is that you, submarine? I mean, dude, just call. Stop playing the bullshit and just call. Okay, you want to talk about reptilians? I can change the topic to reptilians. I have quite a bit of information about that and why, more importantly, why that belief is even in our system, even in our social history. Why is it that belief is there? I can tell you why. Now, whether that belief has any foundation, that's a hard one. I can show you contained within the own belief its own self-contained accordance. But it's standalone accordance. That's the problem. Because it's according to itself. The same thing as if a lawyer comes up and says, well, because I said so. It's just based on his exhaust of his breath that it has any accordance at all. I know I said that I was stopping this, but unfortunately I injured myself. New Year's Day. That lasted all of New Year's Day. Instead, I might try to stop smoking cigarettes, because obviously that's keeping the pain away. I have muscle spasms in my back during the cold. Muscle spasm starts, it feeds on itself because it pulls my back out of line. And when it pulls my back out of line, it starts feeding on itself, and the muscles grow tighter, pulling it further out of line because it hurts. That's actually well documented, silly. Don't even sit there and try to introduce something that is actually factual and then try to make, you know, something out of it, you know, that's not factual. Please don't do that. That's called inclusive or exclusive. Okay? I'm not playing that game with descriptions and comments like that. Okay? It's not so much that I'm smart. I just have some very basic tools I use. And as soon as you start using these tools, you can see that built in the way people talk. You can see the tattletales all over everything that they say. I can't sit there and tell that a lot of times through text. It's a little bit more difficult because there's no emotion behind those words. Okay? But if I talk to you on the phone, I'm sorry, I got you. All right, so let's listen to this for a second. Now, basically, what his determination is the fact that not only is the sun generating 90% of the weather, actually all of the weather on the earth, because without the sun there would be nothing to power the weather on the earth. Without the sun being where it is, causing the gravitational fields that it is doing, the earth would just simply begin to separate and dissipate. Did you know that? It's called cymatics. The position of the earth is sitting at the exact same node as the frequency of the combined cymatics, okay, of the sun. So are all the other planets sitting within the orbital node of the somatics of the sun. It's how you establish orbit. What is messed up is the three-dimensional aspect of somatics. We have a planet called Nibiru that is on a rogue orbit, okay, contrary to the plane of our existence. Missy, up here. Good girl. Up, 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 Missy. No, you're lady. Up. Come here, up. Good girl. There you go. All right. That was the last of the treats for a little while. That's probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. What you're suggesting is that you were hatched. No, I will tell you there is a medical record of a lady that misunderstood her doctor and took something like 500 times the amount of calcium pills that the doctor had recommended and actually hatched an egg. They actually had to break the embryonic sac because it was so filled with calcium. It came out as a very flexible egg. One of the comments in the medical thing is the fact that the birth was extremely streamlined. That there was less complications for the mother during the birth itself. And that caused some research being done. I think that's how I actually discovered that little oddity, is because of the research that was being done as to the resemblance of mammal to reptilian. So, no, Mothmen, there is no such thing. Actually, why not? Let's go in there. I mean, geez. Okay. Okay. First thing we have to do is go to the 58 alien. Now, this has been redone so many times that yeah, that took care of that. Anyway, you're the one that brought up the topic, silly. Okay, now this is from Azrael. This gentleman was in Europe. I actually was involved in trying to get him the freak undercover. There were several of us online that was releasing this information all at the same time in order to give him cover to release it. Okay, and I was involved in that. This happened about 10 years ago. If you didn't know that, believe it or not, 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago maybe. Okay, he safely made it underground as far as I know, and he remains there now. He's as wanted as Snowden. And it's because of this release.
What we see and what we seem are but a dream within a dream. You must learn to love someone else apart from me, Sarah. I won't be here much longer.
Now, if you can get an understanding of how some of the communication was going on, yes, it looks like flavor. Okay, it looks like he's just editing things in. No, he was calling for help. Okay, we had codes back then. We had to use them. We don't use them anymore. We have other ways of communicating now in order to be able to get things out. But This guy here, yes. Okay, this is an early video from him. This is one of the first releases. I recognize it. I'm pretty sure this is a repost. Okay, this is the Alien Races book. He probably has a lot of other things in here. Okay, but within this book is Draconians.
Your learning experience is important. We get it. At DeVry, you'll do more than just learn. You'll experience. Experience hands-on learning, collaboration and problem solving, feedback and discussion.
Oh, I can give you worse than that, Submarine. Fact is, they've been here for over 10,000 years, and you want to sit there and argue about it? If they are, they've been here for 10,000 years or more. Otherwise, they're just a figment of your imagination because you're the one that's talking about them. I'm trying to find the accordance for what you're claiming. All right, so let's see here. We're looking for the Draconians. This one here is actually a very well-known one. That's the one that's most urinally spotted, that's confused with a mantis. And I can show you pictures of the mantis being found in graveyards. This is a good place, and this cuts out a lot of the yeah, I'm up.
Kilamatar, aka KR. They come from constellation Crux, near Crux. It is a very hard race to track down or spot. Both the US and the Russian military have developed a special camera and radar system that allows to spot them when they are on Earth. But even then, they have only been sighted 8 times. The purpose of their presence is unknown. When they are sighted, it is usually in the area known as the Bermuda Triangle. Killy.Gert. They come from
Okay, the black-eyed children. This is the reports of the black-eyed children here. Of course, the information is slightly wrong. It's very difficult in order to get this information outright. But these are the black-eyed children that they're referring to.
Constellation Vela, near the star Suhail al-Mulaf. They grow up to 2 meters high, 6, and live up to 200 years. They can shape-shift, but there is one thing they cannot change, and that is the size and color of their eyes. They are one of the oldest known races. They do abduct humans. Last seen on Earth in July of 2008. Occurs.
Now, what's interesting about this is it's added information since the writing of the book itself. And the surfacing of this book was plausible. Not only that, but most of the information contained in it is also plausible. When I started back in 2002, a lot of this information was already available, but nobody was talking about it. And forever, I have been upset with third phase of the moon, and I've been upset with Secure Team, because they are not coordinating this information with the information that's coming in real time. They're not allowing a build of information to occur. And McNormalot, thank you. You just identified yourself, I think. Yeah, and not only that, but McMurbalot is a little bit tattletale. But anyway, yeah. I want to go back to something that was released earlier today. Our topic is stalled, so I know I'm not going to entertain Brian King today. That's just not going to happen. Let's look for Chief Jones. Here we go.
Today's students need balance in work, life, and school. To give you the type of learning experience you need, Wdrn offers a flexible approach so you can learn where and when you want. Get started at wdrn.edu.
Okay, y'all saw my video. Hey guys, that I posted about the Oklahoma police beatdown of the American veteran. I took some notes. I'm going to refer to those. These are some analytical thoughts on what happened based on my training experience. What I observed. The cashier made claims on the veteran, okay? But it came out as unreasonable acts by the cashier. Okay, in other words, she's complaining that the man was verbally combative, that he argued. Well, he was incensed that as not only a grown man, but in front of his wife and children was done wrong, and that this woman was trying to make his wife and child ID, which is ridiculous. I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. So she's got some issues herself just to start with. Okay. I'm still trying to get an absolute understanding to make sure I'm right about this. Check for yourself. Okay. I know in past times this was true, and I want to verify it, and you feel free to do it. Every state's different, and I believe it's the same way in Oklahoma. When a man or woman tells you as a police officer a misdemeanor infraction or crime happened, and they did not actually see it themselves, the police officers, then that is for a misdemeanor warrant. So they have to send it in to get a warrant. If they basically decide that she made a complaint, they take a sworn affidavit where if she lies, she's prosecuted for false statement, making a false report to police. Then she signs it under oath that she swears he did whatever it is she alleges he did. Now at that point, then the police can say, okay, now we're conducting a criminal investigation, and based on that, then we're going to demand your identification. Okay? If the woman held him there on the pretense she's going to print out the policy on the Walmart on whatever it is that was alleged, yada yada yada, whatever, then she did that to keep him there. You wouldn't be doing that and trespassing somebody simultaneously, so her story doesn't add up. So he's waiting on this, and she did that to keep him there so that she could get her revenge on him because she was butthurt. And of course the police, male ego, we want to fix her butthurt. We got to look good and powerful and strong in front of her and beat down this American veteran. That's my opinion, but I think it's substantially correct based on the evidence. Now let's go on over here to, I didn't hear anything about a disorderly, which is what that would have been a disorderly conduct. Okay, and that would have required them, and if she said, I told him to leave and he didn't, when the police get there, then they have to say, sir, okay, they want you to leave, will you leave? They have to give him an opportunity to leave, and they didn't. there was no charge or allegation of disorderly conduct. And the police got caught up whispering and talking back and forth to each other and huddling and trying to come up with a brain trust on how can we twist and turn this into something where we can show that we're powerful and strong and beat down this police. And it's just incredibly wrong. Wrong. And I listened to local television stations in the area, and they released the statement that the police department released. And if you listen to the statement they did, you go and read Oklahoma law, and you look at what happened, and jot down or put it on where it'll closed caption. No, it ain't closed caption, is it? Anyway, it's where it gives the everything out on the bottom of the screen they're saying. I don't know how to do that, but if you do it and you analytically go back and look, critical thinking again, go back, take notes, what's the first thing you see to the last thing you see, and what did they do in the order. What I'm saying is, if they had have had a felony charge, which they didn't, and then they said, we're arresting you for this felony charge, which would be number one, then you have to ID. But if they don't have the authority to arrest on a misdemeanor a citizen witnessed on scene without a warrant, and they say, I'm arresting you for the charge of disorderly conduct based on this woman's misdemeanor complaint that we didn't witness, and you are now under arrest. Well, only if that was lawful, then could they ask for the ID secondary. And then when they asked for that, then if he didn't give it, it'd be obstruction. But not if the arrest was unlawful. So you, one, must have a lawful arrest. Then, two, you must fail to ID after the arrest. Not while you're talking about it. And they gave him no opportunity to leave as far as trespass. I never heard disorderly conduct. If you did, go ahead and put a comment in. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll be doing another critical thinking video here pretty quick. And I got some notes. What's my next thing going to be? I'm going to do it on police training and police action. Okay? And then I'm going to do a critical thinking. So those will probably be the next two I do unless something big comes up.
Alrighty, so that was Chief Jamin Jones. Now this here is Critical Thinking 1, which is an hour-and-a-half long. I'm not going to play it.
The Lucy drawing tool is an improved version of the classic camera Lucy.
I will give you the link to it. Okay, if you have time this afternoon or something like that, you can kick back and enjoy that from Chief Jones. Now, let's move on to some of the other new postings today. This here is an ongoing situation here. That
when a drunk driver hit me, Wdrn Levine settled my case for $610,000. Over six.
Hey guys, News Now OKC here, and I'd like to let you know about a video. It's fairly disturbing. Picture Perfect is taking care of it. One of his subs sent this video to him. This man is a disabled veteran. He had the use of one leg, but after the police got through with him, he now has the use of none. Picture Perfect's going to put this up here, and I want you guys to go over there and watch it on his channel. So stand by and just take a look at it. It occurred in a Walmart in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Hey y'all, greetings from the road. I am on my way to Silver Dollar City with my wife to catch the last of the Christmas lights and hang out in Branson for a night. I have a video coming. It'll be directly following this little message. A friend of mine by the name of Jason is a disabled vet in Oklahoma. He was paralyzed in his right leg from a war injury, and he could stand up with the help of a walker, but he couldn't walk. So he was in a wheelchair. Anyway, he was attacked by the Muskogee, Oklahoma Police Department, and now he's paralyzed from the waist down. This happened on Friday. Today is Sunday. I finally got all the video from him because he is a sub, believe it or not, and he knows his rights from watching me and all the other auditors out there. He tried to stand up for his rights, so to speak, as best he could, and they beat him for obstruction, if you can believe that. So all the contact information will be in the description, and if you're as disgusted as I am, well, let it be known. What they did was unacceptable, and Jason is still in the hospital to this day, with no idea on when he's going to get out, or if his paralysis is permanent. Like, he was already paralyzed in the right leg, but now he can't move anything below his waist. Anyway, let me know what you think. Have a Happy New Year.
I'm not identifying myself, and I'm leaving.
Okay. Well, you're going to be under arrest then.
For what?
No, what's it?
What am I going to be under arrest for?
You're not leaving.
For what?
You're going to be under arrest.
How are you going to unlawfully detain me? For what? What are you charging me with?
Obstruction.
Obstruction of what?
A police officer.
How am I obstructing you?
You need to identify
You have
yourself.
to have a crime. What is the crime?
Lawful order to identify yourself.
What lawful order?
To identify yourself.
So you automatically come here and you're going to treat me like a criminal even though I'm not one. Why not backing me up because I didn't do anything wrong?
You have to ID yourself. If they request your ID to...
They didn't just request my ID. They requested the ID of my wife and 2 minors. Do they have the right to do that?
If they're the ones attempting to purchase the...
They were not the ones attempting to purchase the alcohol, only me. So what law has been broken?
We're investigating the crime.
They refused to sell me the alcohol because I told them they didn't need my wife's ID because I was purchasing it. That's what happened. That's the information. Is there a crime?
Walmart policy states that
Is that a law?
in the party,
Then it's not a crime.
In the party that's under the age of 40, we card all of them.
Oh yeah, no, there's absolutely no doubt. You got the right, absolutely. Yeah. You have the right to refuse service anyway.
Okay, so if you're going to back her up on this policy, then the thing for me to do is just to call it quits and leave. There's no crime. You don't need my ID.
But you were very violent. You were yelling and cussing at me and my associates.
You treated me extremely poorly, and I have it on video.
And I need your name first and last.
I don't have to give you anything.
You're being banned.
But see, that's the thing. I don't have to give you anything.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, and they're also signing a complaint on you for dishonest conduct. Do not, no.
Okay.
Do not move.
No,
Stop.
hey.
Stop. You are not free to go. You are being detained.
How am I being detained?
At this time, you're under arrest.
For what?
So stop right there.
For what?
For
what?
For obstructing an officer.
Obstructing an officer?
Yes, sir.
For what?
You are not free to leave. You are under arrest.
I had that on video. What did I do?
You are under arrest for obstructing an officer.
How did I obstruct anybody?
Stopping right here. Do not move.
How did I obstruct anybody?
Alright, I'm gonna need you to stand up.
I can't stand up.
How'd you get in here?
This chair. How are you going to come in here and arrest me?
Yeah, you are under arrest right now. Okay,
For what?
There's no ifs, ands,
I have it on video.
You are not free to leave. You are under arrest.
How are you arresting me?
Figure out this medical stuff here.
How are you arresting me?
Because I'm a police officer.
What are you arresting me for? Do I not have the right to know the charges?
I've told you 4 times.
Obstruction of what?
Police officer.
How am I obstructing you? I want your supervisor. I'm done talking to you. And I want my lawyer. And the mayor will be hearing about this. And this video. Saying I'm obstructing you for nothing.
However we do it.
Who's your supervisor? You guys can't arrest me for being upset. So, what is this? Figure out what you can charge me with? I've already stated several times that I'm willing to leave. You guys are the ones holding me up now.
Yes, you are not free to leave right now. You are under arrest, okay?
Under arrest for what?
We're not
Where's the supervisor? What's the supervisor's name, since nobody else is giving me theirs? Can I have that, please? Nothing. Your name, badge number?
What?
Name, badge number?
Officer Phil 516.
Your name, badge number?
It's Officer Wilkins.
Badge number?
Okay, we're not doing that right now.
You said I was under arrest. I'm authorized to have your name and badge number.
The paperwork, there's no laws about that. Okay?
Badge number.
Just chill. Just stay
So you don't want to do your job?
No, I'm doing my job.
You are authorized to tell me.
After my car accident, Wdrn Levine got me $500,000, 5 times more than the insurance company had offered.
Your name and badge number, are you not? Upon request?
My name is Officer Wilkins.
What is your badge number?
524.
Thank you, sir. Your name and badge number.
Officer Rochel 518.
Thank you, sir.
Officer Schultz 550.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
They won't do anything for that. We will once we...
You know, the only reason why I'm still here is because...
Because you're under arrest. That's why you're...
No.
Okay.
The only reason why I was still here when you got here is because I was waiting on the protocol, the policy that they said they were putting out for me. So I consider this entrapment. Where's Kim at? Your manager, Kim.
You badgered my two CSM, so I have them in the cash office. So
I didn't badger them. No, I did not. I was promised a printout copy of the policy, and I still don't have that yet. I was treated like a child, and I was upset. And I suffer from anxiety. Like you care, though. You'd rather see me get arrested. That's what you'd rather do.
Do you have an ID?
I do have an ID.
Can you give it to us?
Why?
We're investigating the crime when you feel identified.
What crime was committed?
Disorderly conduct.
How?
By not providing your ID, you're obstructing. Okay?
Nobody told me anything about disorderly conduct here. Okay?
You've been told.
You were badgering and harassing my associate, yelling and cussing. You called me an effing bitch.
No, I did not. I stopped myself, thank you. And you know that. You know that. I do have it on this video right here, this camera.
That's neither here nor there, okay? Walmart is pressing charges for disorderly conduct, okay? By you not identifying yourself, you're obstructing us.
You're pressing charges for disorderly conduct. Why?
Because of the way you treated my associates and me when I first walked up.
But what about the way you treated me?
I told you to leave. And you were screaming and yelling and cussing.
I was mad for a reason.
Okay, you're not going to treat my associates that way.
Okay. I see your point.
I have to take care of my associates.
No, I see your point. I do. I'm calmed down now, and I do see your point. Do you see where I'm coming from?
I understand, but whenever you and your wife are together, she has to provide ID. She has to live.
How is it possible when she's the only reason I can get out of the house?
Because she lives under 40, she has to show her ID. That's Walmart policy. You and your wife should have showed ID, and there wouldn't have been a problem.
Can I apologize to your people and call this even? Can you be... Christmas Day, can you be human enough to do that?
I can't. You've already instructed you to give me your first and last name.
I gave them my name. They didn't ask for my last name.
We've asked for your ID several times. You need to...
Yeah, but you never said there was a crime being committed. I didn't know she was pressing charges for any crime.
Okay, we've been over that. You're required to identify yourself to us, okay?
And I'm not from the state. I'm not required to identify myself to you.
You are. Okay?
How? On my ID, it says Ohio.
Whether you're willfully just not cooperating or whether you don't understand. I mean, we've explained to you what's going on, what you need to do. It's very simple. You are required to identify yourself to us. You've refused to do it. Okay.
I told you my name.
We could have had you on the road already and halfway home, but you've.
Well, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
You're not allowed just to bully us around to do what you want.
I'm not trying to bully you around. I'm trying to make sure my rights are protected.
It is that simple. We've been called. You're required to identify yourself. You haven't done so. You're on.
My name is Jason Williams.
Okay, we need your ID. That's simple. You can stare at me as long as you like. It does not change that. Okay?
I'm not. It's not a stare. It's a thought process. I'm leaving it to you. You've been the most pleasant to me. I don't know who he is, but he's rude. All I wanted to do was buy something for New Year's. That's it. Does the state of Oklahoma really have identified laws?
Yeah, if an officer is coming in to investigate a crime, you're involved, we ask for your ID.
Yeah, but I wasn't involved in a crime. Nobody told me anything about a crime.
Potentially, we don't have to explain every single thing.
Yes, you do. That's part of my rights. If you're going to there's a crime, you have to tell me there's a crime. You can't just come up and say, hey, what's your ID? I'm investigating something. That's not how that works, man. No, it doesn't. And if you think that works there, Officer Schultz, then you need training. You need to be retrained. You can't just walk up and say, hey, identify yourself. You have to let me know that you think I'm involved in a crime.
You made a 911 call because you were causing a disturbance. We didn't just walk in and ask for your ID. You're involved in a potential crime.
What crime, though? Nobody told me anything about her pressing charges against me.
She doesn't have to press charges against you. That's what you don't understand.
That doesn't normally end in having charges pressed against you because somebody is upset when somebody treats them like a child because they can't buy something. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Officer. How do you say your name? Okay, you weren't here. You didn't see how I was treated. Okay. I'm sorry, but I haven't had the most pleasant experience with law enforcement.
We all have bad days.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you have to act like this.
It does.
No,
it does.
Okay, because now you're getting charges pressed on you.
For what?
I just explained it to you. So
okay, I come here, I get treated wrongly, and I leave with charges.
Let me explain it to you, okay? Because you seem to not be getting this.
No, I seriously don't fucking get this, dude.
But this is what happened. They told you this is our policy, this is what we have to do. You got mad, you told them you weren't going to do it. They said, okay, you need to leave. You refused to do that.
Not once did I hear any of these people tell me to leave.
You refused to do that, and you argued with them. You yelled, so they called us now.
Yeah, I yelled.
To where we're at. Okay?
Yeah, I yelled.
If you had just, whenever all this happened, if you had just said, okay, you don't want to sell this stuff to me, you're being difficult, I'm just going to leave the store and take my business elsewhere, there'd be no problems. You created this whole issue.
We were never told to leave the store, by the way.
I was told I was getting a copy of the policy brought to me. I was never told to leave.
The store.
Never.
I walked away from you and said you need to leave.
Well, I did not hear you. I apologize. If I'd have heard you ask me to leave the store, I'd have left. Because the other lady came out of her office and told me you guys were bringing me a hard copy, printing it off. That's the only reason why I was still sitting here when they showed up. It was because I was told I was getting what I asked for. Not I'm being held to be pressed charges against. I feel like this is entrapment. Like you intentionally held me here so you could press charges against me. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Because you don't want this just resolved. You want to fill out more paperwork. If you want me gone, then why am I not just leaving? I already told you I was going to leave. If you wanted me gone, why am I not just leaving?
You said you were not leaving until you were leaving with the wine. And I said, no, you're not.
When they came in here, I just said to you, I'm going. And that's when, what's his name, stopped me. This guy here.
I need you to move over that chair.
These are my purchased groceries in this car.
I'll get him. Come on. Please. Please.
Why am I transferring anyway? Why am I not getting in my car? Why am I going with you?
You're under arrest.
Hey, hold on a second. Am I not correct by saying that I asked for a supervisor, and I'm also not correct by saying that these are all ticketable offenses? No, I'm waiting for a supervisor right here.
Please. You need to get up on these roof right now. We're going to put you in handcuffs.
That's not how this works.
This is exactly.
That's not how this works.
This is an ad for a project management tool called Monday.com. This is what it looks like, and this is what it feels like. So the tool works like this. We call this a board. Just put everything you need to do here, then put who's in charge of it here, and see where everything stands here. Also, it works on your phone because it's 2019. Click drag and drop to create your board exactly the way you need it. You'll never drop the ball on the important stuff again. So go to Monday.com and create your free account today.
No, I asked for a supervisor. That means I get a supervisor.
You can talk to a supervisor.
Right here. No, I'm going to talk to him here.
Now you are under arrest. You need to do what we said.
I have a neck injury and a spinal injury, so you guys are not authorized to go hands-on.
That's why you're not handcuffed now and on the floor, okay? But you'd already been at the station being booked by now if you didn't have this medical condition, okay? We are accommodating that. But that doesn't...
Accommodating that would be acknowledging that these are ticketable offenses. That would be acknowledging, Mr. Sergeant Wilkins, that these are ticketable offenses and allowing... I'm not resisting arrest. I'm waiting for a supervisor like I asked because you're talking about arresting me for a ticketable offense.
You've been under arrest for several minutes now. At this point, you're resisting arrest by not...
I am not resisting arrest. I am not resisting arrest. I had asked to speak to a supervisor.
You need to sit up on your wheelchair immediately. That is a lawful order. You need to sit up on your wheelchair.
I asked to speak to a supervisor. How is that not my right?
You will speak to a supervisor.
How is that not my right to speak to a supervisor?
You will speak to a supervisor. Not right now. That is not some
Why, get on this side of me. You don't need to move like you're going to put hands on me.
I am.
Stop. Hey! Stop. I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. Stop. No! Get off my phone. You don't have the right to use my phone. Hey! I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. No! Get off my phone. You don't have the right to use my phone. Run! You don't have the right to use my phone. Brady!
Speak to a supervisor. Not right now. That is not some
Why, get on this side of me. You don't need to move like you're going to put hands on me.
I am.
Stop. Hey! Stop. I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. Stop. No! Get off my phone. You don't have the right to use my phone. Hey! I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. No! Get off my phone. You don't have the right to use my phone. Run! You don't have the right to use my phone. Brady! No! I asked for supervisor! Why are you doing this? They called me! I can't get out! I said I didn't pick up! They told me no matter! You're hurting me! You're hurting me! Ah! No! Stop breaking my phone! Shut up! Oh, I need that! Oh, oh, get off my back! I told you I had it! Ow! 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 Stay back! Ow!
Should.
Call 911, this is 911.
Get off me! I have a spinal injury! No! Get off me! Get off me! Hit me! What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Ah! I need an ambulance! Oh my God, get off me! Oh, get off me! I told you I have a...
Babe.
Get off of me! Get off me! Nothing dare move me! Don't move me! Don't move me! I told you I have an everything! Where's my phone?
It's in my hand.
All right, we're checking out some of the stuff from Oklahoma. Now, yesterday, let me see here. This is our show from yesterday.
WDRN Productions and WDRN Production staff may be considered complete works of fiction. Any similarity to reality is only due to the dimensional rift in the perspective vortex. Please adjust your perspective vortex translator devices for enjoyable listening pleasure. WDRN can take no responsibility for improperly adjusted perspective vortex translations and currently operating at the frequency of somatic 900 megahertz.
Hello, hello. Well, I've got a download going on right now as well. A friend of mine showed up on Steam I haven't talked to in years. And hoping maybe I can get a hold of him directly by putting a bullet in his head. Anyway, yes, on game, okay. I'll wait for a second here, get some people in here. We're going to go ahead and call Muskogee and see what they have to actually say to someone that's ready to actually have the conversation with them. Apparently some other people have called and didn't get anywhere. They think that it's perfectly okay. Well, it's perfectly okay until it goes on the other foot, ain't it? Till they are the ones that are subject to that. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for joining. It will take a minute for this here to popularize, but I'm really anxious in order to download Half-Life here. I have a friend of mine that's on right now. I'm going to put this video kind of up by the side to get an idea of the scale in which we are fighting this. We'll find a place for it here. I'm going to move the flag up here, stick that right here, and let it shrink a little bit back into the background so we got our stuff there. Okay. And let that play without any audio. Okay. Geez, let's go ahead and put this here in our comments. Okay, let me get a pen, get something started on this. Okay, this is Muskogee. All right, if you have the numbers, let's have it happened at a Walmart. Let's start at the Walmart. Okay. Do you have the Walmart telephone number? And I have, all of a sudden, a lot of people blowing my phone up. Oh. Okay, get rid of that. Man, people are really... I mean, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pick up the weight of the world here? I mean, gee. I'm flat broke, people. I'm doing what I can. Here. Alrighty, that's better. We're going to start with Walmart. Let's go ahead and bring up our incident here. Alright, let's just search for it. It should be all over the place. Well, Muskogee police issues a statement, huh?
Hey, I cannot fight you guys. Stop this. No! Get off my phone. You don't have a right to use my phone. Ah! You don't have the right to use my phone. Don't spray me. Please. No. Please. Ask your supervisor. Okay? Why are you doing this? Let go of me! I can use myself! I said I can use myself! Let go of me! Let go! You're hurting me! You're hurting me! Ah! No! Stop breaking my phone! Shut up! Ah! I need this! Ow! Ow! Get off my back! I love your hand!
Serve you in our store. For pharmacy, press 1. For electronics, press 2. For pickup, press 3. For deli, press 4. To speak to an associate, press 0. To repeat this...
Thanks for calling the Wdrn Secret Center. How may I help you?
Yes, may I speak to the manager, please?
May I ask what it's concerning?
Well, my name is Alan. I'm calling from Wdrn concerning the incident, and we're trying to, get a little bit better light on that and help you guys out a little bit.
Okay. I can't give you to a manager. All I can do is I can give you our media relations number, and they have to answer all the questions and everything concerning the incident.
That's terribly unfortunate that somebody said that to you. Meanwhile, I do need to speak to the manager. There's other legalities involved here, and also the ADA is now involved.
Okay. Like I said, I can give you our media relations number, but that's all I can do for you.
Well, no, ma'am. I have access directly to corporate, so I actually need to speak to the manager because I've already exhausted corporate. And be honest with you, ma'am, you are on the air right now, so whatever you do is going to reflect with corporate as well. I need to speak to the manager.
Okay, I can try. Hold on just a second, okay?
Thank you.
Let's go to Walmart. This is Jake speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Jake. How are you today?
I'm doing really good.
You are on the air. This is Alan from Wdrn. We're trying to track down exactly what happened concerning a disabled gentleman that was in hospital care that, due to Walmart's insistence, was then tackled and further injured. Now he is a paraplegic as compared to just having loss of his leg. Tell me, did this event start because he was trying to purchase alcohol for the New Year's?
Sir, I can't comment on the incident. All I can tell you is that our phone number to our media relations, Walmart Media Relations, is...
Well, I'm not asking you to comment. I'm asking you as the manager of that store. The ADA has been notified. The question is whether or not you are going to give your employees further instructions to attack people on this basis using the police as a hammer or a instrument of, let's say, extortion. This has caused the man a great deal of pain, and I'm talking to you directly to give you the opportunity in order to explain to our customers and the audience here exactly what you are responsible for doing in your store and how you are going to be handling this in the future.
Sir, again, I can't comment.
You need to comment, sir. You're on record. You're on the air. Corporate has already been notified. It is you as the manager is responsible for that store. We're holding you personally responsible because this is a policy that is set store by store. The employees made up their own policy during this, and you're backing them up. We're not talking to PA. We're talking to people that are going to continue to work in our stores and our communities, not your corporate office, because as far as we're concerned, we can get rid of Walmart completely. Now, exactly what is it that you're doing in order to prevent this from happening to other customers?
Sir, again, that number is 1-800-331.
And again, sir, I've already discussed that with you. You are on the air. You're being evasive. What steps have you been given by the corporate in order to prevent further injury to your customers?
Sir, I really appreciate you calling me, but again, that number is 1-800.
Again, I need to answer. I need to have the answer, not an evasive answer, not a deflection of your responsibility, sir. What are you doing
to prevent injuries to customers in your store, whether it be via the police department or otherwise? Everyone's seen the video, sir.
Sir, that's Walmart Media Relations at 1
No, it is not Walmart Media Relations. We're going to come to your store and start boycotting if you do not answer my question. There will be over 150 people in front of your store lawfully carrying signs, bringing the attention of the entire community. And by the way, we're on broadcast band. This is not a rinky-dink little YouTube channel you're messing with here. This is Wicked Development Radio Network. Now again, I'm asking you, what efforts are you making in order to prevent injury to the customers that would walk into your store, whether they're handicapped or not?
Sir, again, that's 1-800-331-0085.
Okay, and exactly how are those numbers protecting your customers? That's after the fact. I need to know the next customer that comes in a wheelchair or walking will be capable of going and leaving that store again. Exactly what measures are you taking?
Sir, again, that's 1-800.
And your name is, sir?
My name's Jake.
Jake what?
Sir, I don't give out my last name.
Well, we can get that information just simply by walking in and looking at the board. You're claiming to be the manager. The information is right there available in the store. Are you refusing in order to identify yourself as the manager of the store now?
So again, that number is 1-800.
And you're again avoiding the question. Sir, you're a completely confused person. As I said, you yourself are going to be held responsible for what happens next. I'm giving you an opportunity to give something other than a deflection, because corporate is not going to help you. Under 18 U.S.C. 245, you have no corporate umbrella that will help you legally. Okay, that is a criminal offense. It's manufacture of evidence. That is manufacture of a false statement. That's 18 U.S.C. 35. You are in serious trouble. You, sir, are in serious trouble. I want to know what efforts you're doing in order to protect your customers that enter that store.
So first of all, I want to appreciate for the opportunity that you've given me. And second off, I want to go ahead and reiterate that it's 1-800-331-0085 for Walmart Media Relations. Okay.
Well, I'm not talking to Walmart Media Relations. I'm talking to the manager that is directly responsible for the safety of the customers of the store. How do you respond to keeping your customers safe?
I respond by telling you that Walmart Media Relations number is 1-800-331-0085, and they'll be able to...
So you take no responsibility from this day forward for anything happening in your store, and everything is Walmart Media Relations. Tell me, what county, what state is Walmart Media Relations located at?
Sir, that's located in Denville, Arkansas.
In Arkansas. Do you realize that you're in Colorado? Do you think that they may have different laws in Arkansas?
Did you just say I'm in Colorado?
I'm sorry, in Oklahoma. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do you realize the fact that they may have different laws there in Arkansas that they may not be familiar with Oklahoma? As the manager of the store, you're responsible for everything. You do realize that, legally or otherwise? And the person that spoke for your manager in the store, the lady, okay, giving a false description of the events. We have all this on videotape. You have videotapes of your own that we're going to be acquiring. Okay, and this is going to be where you took a gentleman that was suffering from a partial paralysis that was recovering and is now a paraplegic due to your actions. Now, how do you defend yourself, and how do you plan on treating customers in the future? Do I need to make an alert that nobody can go to your Muskego store because they're subject to attack? That is not going to go through media relations. We're going through you, sir. Okay, and this is what the official report is going to be, that you take no responsibility. Is that what your claim is?
So again, I can't comment on that. Again,
yes, you can, sir. Yes, you can, because you're already liable. You have no blanket policy that's going to help you with a attack and putting somebody as a paraplegic possibly for the rest of their lives. Okay, there is no defense for that. There is no defense for a false report. And this doesn't have anything to do with media relations. This has to do with you.
Okay, again, that number is 1-800.
Do you have a lawyer, sir? Or is that who I can reach in order to get a statement maybe from your lawyer as media relations? Because you will be sued and your name will be coming up on criminal charges. You do understand that. Criminal charges. Very serious ones. Assault, battery, injury, using the police as an extortion device, placing a false report. These are all federal charges, sir. Do you honestly think that your position with Walmart is going to protect you?
Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to tell you the number one more time. It's 1-800-331-0085. And then I'm going to go ahead and hang up the phone, okay? Because I've given you the information that you need.
So you are officially taking the position that you have no responsibility. You're taking the position that you have nothing to say, and that for some reason the PR department in Walmart is going to represent you in court. Is this correct?
So I can't comment on anything that you said in this entire phone call. All I can tell you is the phone number of Walmart.
Well, sir, our customers can. Our customers can. And by the way, people, you can reach Walmart at 918-687-0058. And if you're a consumer in the Muskogee area, you might want to check to see whether or not they have battens or clubs or something like that that would prevent you. Oh, by the way, what is your receipt policy? Do you realize that when you ask somebody for a receipt, that's a Terry stop?
Okay.
Okay, and guess what? We're going to have people coming through testing all these things. And, sir, Jake, you're responsible. Have a nice day, sir.
You too, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Okay. So we have criminal behavior and just call somebody else. Just call anybody else but me. Okay. Apparently shopping at the Muskogee Walmart is unsafe. So let's see if we can get some honest police department. Let's check with the police. That's 918. Let's catch up on my stuff here. Okay. 683 8000. Hello?
If this is an emergency, hang up and dial 911 now. If you are trying to reach the Muskogee County Jail, hang up and dial 918-682-7851. If you know your party's extension, dial it now. If this is not an emergency and you need to speak to a police officer, press 1. For records, press 2. For the court clerk, press 3. For animal control, press 4. For public relations or Crime Stoppers, press 5.
We'll go with public relations.
For your call.
Hello, this is Officer Lincoln Anderson, Muskogee Police Department Media Community Relations Division.
Please listen closely as this menu has changed. You have reached the Muskogee Police Department.
Please hold while I transfer your call.
So, by the way, that's a neat little trick you can use.
Please listen closely as this menu has changed.
Uh-huh.
You have reached the Muskogee Police Department.
So I guess we're going to have to talk to an officer.
Please hold while I transfer your call.
By the way, you can back up in a lot of these by using star.
Muskogee 911, can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I need to speak to the officer in charge. What happened?
Please listen closely as this menu has changed. You have reached the Muskogee.
Please hold while I transfer your call.
Hello, Muskogee County 911. This is Holly. How can I help you?
Hello, Holly. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How can I assist you?
I need to speak to your lieutenant in charge or your officer on duty.
Okay,
Brass,
so which agency and what is it a reference to?
Well, ma'am, there's a very dangerous situation that is occurring at one of the shopping centers there, and I'm calling in order to follow up on that. This is Alan from Wdrn.
Okay, which shopping center?
Apparently Walmart there.
Okay, are you calling in reference to the Walmart video?
What video, ma'am? The
Whatever
reason why I'm
video
calling...
that you're talking about online?
I have no idea what you're referring to. I've got a report that there is a dangerous situation at Walmart, and I'm currently on the air. I have a lot of listeners here that have reported this. Well, apparently there's people at Walmart that will just stop people and then call the police and cause injury. And we're trying to find out whether or not we have police officers. No, ma'am. You are the dispatcher. Okay, let me clear up your confusion right away. I've already talked to everybody. I need to talk to an officer there so we can have somebody posted at Walmart, because Walmart is will not be able to have any customers. No, that's not 918. What is 918 about? I don't need to speak to you. I need to speak to the brass that is in charge right now.
I'm giving you the PR number.
No, I don't want a PR number. I want the gentleman in charge. We need an officer over there to prevent other injuries, a supervisor to stand by, because your police officers are rogue. When they're asked for a supervisor, they're not doing their job. So I need to speak. No, ma'am, there isn't any telephone number to call. I'm not calling a telephone number with a answering machine. What a strange way. I'm sorry.
Has changed. You have reached the Muskogee Police Department.
Please hold while I transfer your call.
Muskogee 911 Center, can I help you?
Yes, what's your name?
My number is 630.
630. Did they refer to that as that in the office as well?
Sometimes, yes.
What a joke. Listen, you're a public official, so I'm not even going to play games. You've answered the dispatch for the police department. You are on duty. I am asking for the person that is brass, not a police officer, but the officer, quote, with rank that is in charge currently. And you are also under official duty, so I'm not going to be playing games. We're talking about violation of 18 U.S.C. 35, talking about 18 U.S.C. 1001 violation. You are currently on the air. This is recorded. There is no...
it's recorded, all right. It's recorded on our end. Everything is.
Well, yes, ma'am, and you want to know something? I want to know... If you need to know... Wait a second. Stop! Stop right now. Stop right now. If you hang up on me, it is recorded, ma'am. I will have you on charges. I will have you on charges if you continue. You're obstructing my call. You are obstructing my call. You are obstructing my call. Stop obstructing justice. Stop obstructing a civil investigation. I am telling you right now, do not obstruct a civil investigation. I need to speak to the person that you have in charge right now.
Okay. We do not.
You're obstructing a civil investigation. Do not obstruct a civil investigation, ma'am. I just need to speak to whoever's in charge. I don't need to speak to a dispatcher. There is nothing to give me except the right person to talk to. There is no, well, we'll do this way and create a Rube Goldberg machine that way. I want to speak to someone in charge. You're obstructing justice. You're obstructing a civil investigation. Do you know what the charge of obstruction is, ma'am? You're obstructing something at the official level. You're obstructing. Stop obstructing me. Put on a person that has an official position.
I can't give you something I don't have in this
Yes, you do. You are the dispatcher. You can put the person that is your supervisor that is in charge of your department on right now. You're obstructing justice. You are obstructing an investigation.
Sir, are you wanting police or are you wanting dispatch? Which one are you wanting?
I want
There's two different entities.
No, it's the same entity, ma'am. And if you want, I don't care. I don't care what your claim is. You're obstructing. I told you I want to speak to the head person, okay, that is on duty, that has the top rank right now. And you're obstructing me.
On the police side or on the dispatch side,
On dispatch, you'll be fine.
Okay, that'll be great. You just hold on, sir. This is dispatch. How can I help you?
Yes, what's your name?
My name is Felicia. How can I help you?
And your badge number, please?
I don't have a badge number, sir. We don't have badges.
I was just given a number by your dispatcher in reference to what would be otherwise referred to as a badge number. I've also been hung up by a different dispatcher. I have a real serious problem with that. Are you familiar with obstruction of a civil investigation? Are you familiar with obstruction charges?
Sir, how may I help you?
Yes. Are you familiar with obstruction charges? Because you're both the dispatchers I have talked to has attempted to obstruct me. Are you familiar with obstruction?
We can do this all day long.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm asking you a direct question. Are you familiar with obstruction? Do you know what obstruction is? Do you know what official obstruction is of a civil investigation? Because both of your operators right now should be disciplined for obstruction, and that is recorded on your recordings. Now, how are you going to proceed?
I'm going to see if I can help you in any way.
I just told you need to cite both of those operators for obstruction in whatever low-level disciplinary action that you have available to you. You make a report of that obstruction, and you discipline those two people. I'm giving you a direct report of what just happened. I had two operators that obstructed my inquiry. Okay? I'm not going to put up with it, and either you do something about it and you tell me what steps you will take now, or it will be made official with the state, as well as federal marshals. You do understand that obstruction is a very serious charge, and for the police department, in order to commit obstruction, is absolutely ridiculous.
Sir, if you're making a formal complaint, what is your name and phone number?
My name is Rex Allen Fredrickson. My number is 618-606-4595. Studio number.
And once again, I got your name. It's Rex Allen Fredrickson. What is the phone number? A little bit slower, please.
618-606-4595. The news desk number here is 970-658-8592. Now, I ask you, what is your intention after this has been recorded, not only on your end but mine, where the first call was simply hung up on? This is dispatch. That's obstruction. The second call, I was not answered, and I was fed a number. That is not a response. The third phone call, it took me rather a long time in order to get a hold of you. And again, I was obstructed and given a Rube Goldberg machine in order to sit there and attach to something other than what I was asking for. And then after I am done with you, I need to speak to the brass on duty, the highest rank that you have in your section, okay, in order to continue my inquiry. Now, we've just had another crime on top of what I have called about. Okay, yes, go ahead.
I believe the other dispatcher tried to explain to you that...
No, there is no explanation for obstruction. That is a description of why you obstructed. I don't want to hear about why you obstructed. I don't want to hear a description of how you abrogate my rights. I want to know what disciplinary action you're going to take to that person for hanging up the phone. Not once, but twice. When I didn't even have a chance in order to answer the first time, they just hung up the phone. And again, this is all attached to my telephone number and your records and mine. How do you wish to proceed now?
Sir, I can't give you an answer to that right now. I'll have to go back and listen to the call.
So you're going to look up the calls, and after you look up the calls and you discover that what I have told you is true, what is your intent, and what do you intend to do after that?
I don't have to tell tell you that, sir.
Yes, you do, because otherwise I'll find out on my own, either using FOIA requests. Example, the two names of the people that I was talking to are avoided. That's not even a possibility. I call the police department, I ask for your bloody well name, you bloody well give it. You're a public servant. Okay? Now, I'm confused in who there knows what their job is. And again, this is an obstruction charge. You have obstructed the dispatch, and now you're taking up my time by not describing to me what your intent. Oops, sorry. Let me restore that. I wanted to bring up something here. Let me bring the window in. Defaulted wrong. I was trying to do a transition to a different page, and I goofed. Sorry. Let's see here. Give me a second. I'll straighten it out. Hey, listen, I'm learning this too, okay? I apologize. I was also trying to update it's kind of odd that 1512 and 1215 interact in conspiracy. Uh-oh. No. Oh. Great. Thunder scores again. Sorry about that. Dang it, Thunder! You want to get any more no-nos? Huh? Do you want to get any more no-nos? Jesus. That was bad. Alright, that's one screen I want to bring up, and the other screen I want to bring up is right here. Let me bring it up this way. I'll bring it up in the same window. That way I can still switch between them. I call the police department, I ask for your bloody well name, you bloody well give it. You're a public servant. Okay? Now, I'm confused in who there knows what their job is. And again, this is an obstruction charge. You have obstructed the dispatch, and now you're taking up my time by not describing to me what your intentions are. How do you wish to proceed?
I've told you that I will review the call.
Okay. Now I need to talk to the highest brass. I need to talk to your highest officer, the highest ranking officer on duty in your department right now.
Sir, do you understand that this is not the police department?
I do understand. I'm going to follow up on the charges of obstruction with your department first, and then I will continue to go through dispatch in order to reach somebody else. Okay, but meanwhile, I'm taking care of the first fault first. I couldn't make the phone call. I'm going to deal with that problem because it doesn't matter if it's Walmart or anything else. People that call the police are expected to be answered, not hung up on. Now,
Sir,
yes?
if you want to speak to someone at the police department regarding that matter, then you need to call 918-680-3167.
Is this not dispatch for the police department?
Excuse me?
Of course it is. It's a dispatch for a police department. Why are you giving me a telephone number that is separate from what your job is? You are the operator for the police department. You are the telephone operator for the police department. You are also 411 for the police department for any information that anyone needs calling. Now, I did call the non-emergency telephone number for the police department, which is this number that I dialed. It happens to be... Yes?
It's a holiday. It's a holiday, and when the office is closed, the calls roll over to dispatch, so in case there's an emergency, someone can dispatch an officer.
Okay. Now, all the calls roll over, so there's nobody at the telephone number that you're going to give me, stalling and obstructing my inquiry again. Is that what your intention is to stall and further obstruct my inquiry?
No, the direct number that I gave you was for public relations. It was not to the front desk or the call number you
Yes,
called.
I'm very familiar with the public relations number. I already called it. It's nobody answered. That's the reason why I called the dispatch in order to get a actual officer online. But you don't seem to be capable or forgot what button to push. Now, meanwhile, I've spent the last 10 minutes explaining to you what a new violation is and what civil obstruction of investigation is.
For the last 10 minutes, and I'm done with that. If you have
Well,
to
good.
complain
Can
on
I
me,
go ahead and talk to somebody that's in the police department that is on duty today?
Okay.
The highest ranking person in the police department that is on duty.
I have your name and phone number, and I will refer that to the lieutenant on duty. I don't know that they will return your call, but
I'm not asking for them to return my call. I'm asking you to put them on the phone. I don't need you to give them notes for me. I told you, I'm calling here, and now it's been a half hour or so that I've tried to simply make a single phone call to a man at the police department, and you hung up on me. The third one. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you appreciate what I've done. Okay? You talk about vetting myself? You want to sit there and say, oh, well, he's afraid to wear a mask. Hell no, I'm not afraid. Hell no. Okay? All right? They want to sit there and push me off into some PR. I'm sorry, are you someone that can actually do something? No. You're a voice box. It's nothing more. Nothing more than a talk piece. Okay? Where should we follow up? Obviously, a police department isn't. So they just got a wake-up call in Oklahoma. And this is also goes for Beaver Police as well when they hang up the phone. That is obstruction, folks. Okay, that is pure obstruction. And yes, I went ahead and gave my name and telephone number right on the air, folks. You think I'm fucking around? Do you know how easy it is in order to fucking drop this shit for you people? People that are ungrateful for bringing this kind of talent or this kind of effort to the fold, that I spent a year fucking just trying to tell everybody, hey, listen, did you know there's laws, 18 U.S.C. 241, 242, and 245? You cannot get a high school diploma without knowing these things. But they sit there and they use implied immunity. Okay? Oh, well, it was an honest mistake. It was an honest error. Acting in good faith. Well, I'm sorry, they didn't teach you about the Ku Klux Klan Act in junior high? Doesn't it require a high school diploma? All right. Badge numbers are nice. Whoops, 15. 524. And 518. You see, people, I used to field calls like this. I worked for a complaint department for years. Okay, and then we have a 503 number. Can you tell me what that 503 is? I don't know why I need your old phone number, man. But then again, let me follow directive and call all these useless numbers when I've already called the number. Okay, I already dialed the number. I already reached the people I was supposed to be talking to, and they were incapable of doing their job. As simple as that. All right, so we've talked to the police. Let's talk to the mayor's office.
Thank you for calling the city of Muskogee. Unfortunately, we are closed at this time for the holiday. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. If you know your party's 4-digit extension, you may dial it now or press 9 to pass by last name. If you have a water emergency, please press 1 now. Otherwise, please call back the next business.
Well, the mayor's not going to be of any help. Let's try Walmart. Let's see what they got to say.
Thank you for calling Walmart Stores Customer Service. For the phone number, location, and hours of operation of a Walmart store or Sam's Club, press 1. If you are a customer, press 2. If you are a current or former associate, press 3. If you are calling about your Walmart.com online order, press 1. If you are calling about a store experience, Walmart gift card, or credit card, press 2. To contact Sam's Club, press 3. For savings catcher questions, press 4. To repeat this information, press the star key. To return... Sorry, I did not understand your response. Please try again. If you are calling about your Walmart.com online order, press 1. If you are calling about a store experience, Walmart gift card, or... If you are calling about your store experience, store return, or store merchandise, press 1. For credit card questions, press 2. For Walmart shopping or gift... Please hold while your call is being transferred. At the conclusion of your call, please stay on the line for an opportunity to rate our service provided today. At Walmart, we are committed to bringing you quality products at prices that save you money so you can live better. This call may be monitored or recorded to assure quality service or for other business purposes.
Thank you for calling Walmart. We're always happy to help. My name is Steve. Can I have your first and last name, please?
My name is Alan. I'm calling with WDRN, Wicked Velvet Radio Network. You are on the air right now. If you choose not to be on the air, I would need to speak to a supervisor. This is a national interest matter.
Please rate the service that you received on the phone today. 1 being poor and 5 being excellent.
What happened?
You can better believe that was stupid.
We appreciate your participation in this survey, and thank you for shopping at Walmart.
Okay, we'll try that again, no problem.
Thank you for calling Walmart Stores Customer Service. For the phone number... Hello. Thank you for calling the Walmart store and Sam's Club locator service. To locate
No.
They are not prepared for my
There was
questions.
two I needed to
I told them that outright.
Whoa, let's see. Do you think anyone would answer? I'll give that a try second.
Of a Walmart store or Sam's Club, press 1. If you are calling about your Walmart.com online order, press 1. If you are calling about a store experience, Walmart... If you are calling about your store experience, store return, or store merchandise, press 1. Please hold while your call is being transferred. At the conclusion of your call, please stay on the line for an opportunity to rate our service provided today. At Walmart, we are committed to bringing you quality products at prices that save you money so you can live better. This call may be monitored or recorded to assure quality service or for other business purposes.
Thank you for calling Walmart. We're always happy to help.
My name is Dakota. Can I get your first and last name, please?
Dakota, hello. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I actually used to live with you. It was called North Dakota.
Oh, yeah?
You bet. Man, I tell you, we're doing the cold thing, aren't we? I need to speak directly to your supervisor. It's just going to save you a lot of time, and it'll probably keep you from being a little bit confused, if that's okay.
All right. Can I get some more information real quick, and then I'll see if I can get you one?
Absolutely. Muskogee,
All right.
Walmart.
Okay, and what's your first and last name real quick?
My name is Alan. I'm with Wdrn, Wicked Development Radio Network.
All right. Let me see here. You said you're from Muskogee?
No, this is concerning the Muskogee store.
Okay.
Why, are you bringing up some kind of a PR on the Muskogee store, or do you see that, or?
No, I was just trying to get what you said for the store number.
All right, I was wondering if maybe you had a PR show up or something like that.
No, but let me get you a supervisor and see if they can get you help, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's my new DJ hat. What do you think? Huh? You like it? How do you like it now? I love it. I mean, can you see all that? Is that cool or what? So this is my new DJ hat. See if we can go ahead and get some power. Maybe I can start DJing around town. At least that's, $100 a night or so I can get, right? Thank you, Jamie.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Austin. I'm a supervisor here. How can I help you?
Austin, I've got a rather sticky situation here, and the reason why I bypassed your operator is because you would have more experience in dealing with something like this. We have had a report from Muskogee that after a gentleman was asked for ID, he had his wife and children with him, it led into a very bad situation as far as Walmart is concerned. The employee insisted that they were going to charge him with disruptive behavior in the store when it was the employee that caused it. And what has happened is a gentleman that was in treatment for partial paralysis of his leg is now being treated for a paraplegic that both legs do not work because of the actions of the employee at your store. Now, I have talked to the manager, which doesn't seem to recognize the fact that regardless of Walmart policy, he is directly responsible for the policies conducted in his store. Now, in video, we have a manufacture of evidence false testimony. That's 18 U.S.C. 35. We also have a 1001 violation by the police officers that were involved, siding with the employee. However, it still leaves the open record showing the fact that this man did nothing more than was refused a sale of alcohol and was leaving, but was prevented from leaving the store, and again demanding ID after he agreed to leave and asked to leave several times. He was prevented from doing so. Is there anything that you might be able to bring to light that this employee may have been following some type of policy that would have came from corporate?
Well, everybody in the party does have to have a valid ID. So the issue streams from
I'm
the fact
sorry.
that they
No,
didn't
wait a
want
minute.
to
Wait a
ID.
minute. Wait a minute. Everyone in the party has to have a valid ID? How do you refer to as party? Because that would only include adults. There were several children involved there, too.
Yeah, children are not included. Those are for adults.
Okay,
Any adult
so there
in the
was
party.
one man that had his family that was trying to purchase alcohol. Now, exactly at what point, after you tell him you're not going to serve him alcohol because of whatever reason, do you follow this man out and prevent him from leaving the store?
So we didn't prevent him from leaving. He
Yes, you
refused
did. You
to leave.
stopped him and demanded ID over and over again. This is in video, sir.
I've watched the video myself, sir. At no point did we physically stop that person from leaving.
The police did on your recommendation. And yes, if you've actually...
Didn't do that, though.
Well, sir, I have the video right here, if you like.
Yeah, I've already watched the video, sir. It's the police that stopped him.
No, sir. No, sir. It was the employee that said, let's do this, and initiated the arrest. It was your employee that initiated the arrest and signed the complaint. I need to know how that is a fact. Because until that employee said that there was a disturbance...
You
Yes?
just keep talking over me. I'm trying to explain, but you're not accepting what I'm telling you.
I'm not going to
You're just saying,
accept
"No,
something
that's
that's
not
false
true."
after I've seen the video. Your employee stepped up and preferred charges.
Well, yes, we did.
For
Because
what?
He refused to leave the store.
He was trying to leave the store prior to, and your employee prevented him by pressing charges. Now, I don't know the chronological order that you've seen this in, but I've seen it in chronological order.
So, sir, this is how it goes, okay? We asked the guy to leave. He wouldn't leave the store. We called the police. The police dealt with it.
No, that is not what happened. He was trying to leave the store, and I have his saying, "I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave."
Yeah, he was already arrested.
No, it wasn't under arrest until your employee agreed to sign charges.
Because they said you have been placed under arrest for the past several minutes.
No, that wasn't the fact. The fact is they said that he was being detained and then falsely said, "Sir, why is your fact so screwed up here? Why is your fact so screwed up? Why am I being put on hold?"
So, sir, if you want to have a conversation that includes me speaking and then you speaking, we can do that. But
Okay, well, can you leave out the false claims here? Because I mean, I'm looking at this right now. He's requesting to leave several times and being prevented.
Again, sir, if you want to let me talk, then you can talk. But if you want to keep talking over me, I'm just going to keep putting you on hold.
Well, that's fine. You can put false statements in the record. Go ahead.
There's no false statement.
Yes, sir, because he asked to leave several times before all the pretending that he was arrested for anything. He wasn't arrested for anything. There was no charges. But then again, maybe that reflects your...
Take that up with the police department.
Okay, well, go ahead. Please
refused
explain.
to leave our store.
Please go ahead and explain. What does Walmart intend to do for this man that is now possibly a paraplegic?
Walmart's not doing anything.
Well, you're going to be.
About what they're going to be doing.
No, not at all. This all goes back to Walmart. You don't understand that. There is no deflection.
I'm not going to argue this with you.
That's correct. There is no argument.
All we did is call the police on somebody that would not leave our store.
That's not true. Now, would you like to say something that is true?
Sir, okay. Well, listen, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm simply here to set the facts straight.
But you're not. You're not stating any actual facts here, sir. You're putting patently false facts into the record.
The person did not leave our store, and the police were called. That's it.
Okay, let me review this real quick. It's real simple.
It's real simple. He wouldn't leave our store when he got asked to leave.
He's attempting to leave.
You guys can't
the
arrest
store.
me for being upset.
He's going to be arrested for being upset. That's what the arrest is. He was upset. Let's see. I'm reviewing it right now for you. Can you hear it?
When he got asked to leave, none of this would have happened.
And the mayor will be hearing about
yes,
this.
it would
And
have
this
happened
video.
because what's going to happen now, sir?
When they asked him to leave, none of this would have happened.
Well, you're going to have a lot more people to ask to leave. They're going to be picketing your store. It's unsafe in order to go to your store. What instructions have you been given? Have you given the store in order to prevent your customers' injuries?
If he would, we didn't do any injuries.
Yes, you did. You initiated the confrontation. I need to know what effort is your store going to make in order to prevent this from happening again?
The phone today. 1 being poor and 5 being excellent.
Sorry, you did a bad job too. Okay, so apparently it is dangerous in order to go to the Muskogee store. So that's what our headlines are going to be. Okay, now guess what, folks? This is up to you. This is up to you. How do you spell Muskogee? M-A... I had it written down here. M-U, that's it. M-U-S-K-O-G-E-E. Customers flee false reports. Okay, our headline for this is Muskogee Walmart dangerous to shop. Now let's change that. Dangerous to shop, Muskogee Walmart. Okay. Now, you can tell by the last hour that it is dangerous to go to Muskogee, so that's what our headline is. Okay, public danger at Muskogee Walmart because of false reports, false claims, putting patently false information into the public record, not once at the location, but also twice on the phone. Okay, these are serious criminal charges. And if you want to know what you're up against, it's the same thing as you're up against the police. Indifferent bullshit. Oh, well, we talk a good bullshit. Well, the bullshit stops here. See? Talk stops here. Talk stops here. Okay? So, I've given my name. I've given my telephone number. Can I do anything more for the cause while everybody runs around and complains about something 20 years ago? You want to know why I'm here? It's for the guy that got injured at Walmart. Not for all these idiots running around, well, you don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, these people wouldn't be on the fucking run. Ladies and gentlemen, you'd start making a video today, make this one. Make your own video here. Okay? Let them know that it's dangerous in order to lie. To let them know that it's dangerous to cheat. Let them know that when they engage the police and have them do an illegal bidding because of a false claim, the matter's over. Here's what the
Not once did I hear any of these people tell me to leave.
Nobody told him to leave. Nobody.
Was treated.
So we have to further investigate.
Okay.
You're being uncooperative, not identifying yourself.
I'm sorry, but I haven't had the most pleasant experience with law enforcement.
Sorry. We all have bad days.
Okay.
I don't mean you have to act like this.
It does.
No,
it does.
Okay, because now you're getting charges pressed on you.
For what?
I just explained it to you.
No. Explaining how you're abrogating his rights is what you did, sir. And then you caused great physical injury to this man. Oh, well, it's just that way. Just that way. We're just going to do it. Are you nuts? Let me tell you something, Mr. Police Officer. I have federal authority. I am a vet. And by federal authority, I can put a stop work order on you. Don't ever pull this shit in front of me. Ever. I'll have you up on charges. I don't care what manufacturer of evidence you come up with. If there's something better I can do than sit here and starve, I'll sit in fucking jail and at least get 2 meals a day. And then you will pay for it, sir. This has been Beware Mouse. May your God be with you. That was some phone calls I made yesterday. I left my information. They can call me. Simple as that. But the fact is, I mean, that kind of bullshit, it's beyond comprehension that these people can sit there and turn everything upside down based on this video. It's incredible, the misdirection and the false claims immediately made. It's unbelievable. It's just simply extraordinary. But people are still reporting this as a defendant's arrested. This was posted 4 hours ago. Let's go.
Hey guys, News Now OKC here. I've got a video for you to watch from, it's combined SEK audits and Okie audits. They were out doing a audit in Versailles, Missouri, standing in the back of the sheriff's department, just getting video of the cars in the building, and watch what happens.
You have some ID on you?
No.
ID.
Hey!
Hey everybody, it's Okie Audit coming at you in Versailles, Missouri, in Morgan County. Today we're at the Justice Center, and we'll see here why no cell phones are allowed. We'll see here. Cell phones are not allowed inside the building. Phones must be left in your vehicle. Metal detectors in use. Wonder why that is. Let's see. Please remain in the lobby until cleared by security. Cell phones, pagers, pocket knives. Shit, I got a pocket knife in my, may not work out for us because I have a pocket knife in my pocket.
There's a cell phone in your hand.
And there's a cell phone in my hand. You're right. Oh, there is a metal detector in there. Huh. Let's just see what's going on out here then. Right there. There they go. We're taking away their view. Let's see what's going on down here. This is the court clerk or circuit clerk is what it says. Lori Moon.
You can't videotape the building and court clerks and all that. You can't do.
Sure I can. Sure I can. It's public space, sir.
Okay, well I'll have somebody come out and talk.
That'll be fine, sir. I'll be around here looking at the other stuff. Well, can the monkey show, can I? Anyway, I don't know if those are inmate stuff. Doesn't look like it there. Just trying to figure out what those little windows are. No, there's going to be your inmate stuff. There's the little slatted windows. Let me try to do a little decorating here. See what's here. Firearms and/or any other weapons are not allowed. And I got a new knife and I don't want to lose it. So we're just going to do this from out here. Looks like visitation hours are right there. Huh, that's what that is. Let's see what's going on out here. Like I said, I don't got a brand new knife. I don't want to get it confiscated. Let's see what this is. Oh, look at there. I'm guessing that's for inmates to hang out and be cool. Would be my guess. I've never really seen a elevated inmates play area. I've never seen that. That's interesting. Of course, we all know what a cop car looks like. Well, being pulled over by many of them. These are, maybe inmate transport vans would be my guess. That is interesting. I've not seen that before. Reserved for on-duty car. Not sure what that is. Let's see what this is here. Restricted area, employees only. Just keep right on walking here. A couple more sheriff's cars. Like one may be out of service. Got the tag off anyway, right? I don't know if it's been de-identified. Nope, still got sheriff's badging. And then another view of the inmate play area up there. And then we've got Sally Ports. Man, it's cold today. Oh, well, there's the blue ices, which is not uncommon to see blue ices flags inside these places. There's your gang flag everybody gets riled up about. Here comes a popo. Let's see what's going on here. What's going on today? Just out recording public spaces.
Okay. Well, this right here is all restricted area.
Where's the signs?
There's a sign that says right over here it's restricted, and also on the other side of the
Show me the sign. I don't, sure didn't see it. Is it right here? What's vehicle? I'm not a vehicle, sir. So good thing I'm not a vehicle, so I'm good to go. Hey, authorized vehicles. So I'm good to go. What's that?
You have some ID on you?
No.
ID.
Hey! Hey!
What are you here for?
Hey, what's going on?
Why are you here?
To take pictures of a public building.
No. You cannot come out here and then with that. Up here.
I got one pocket knife on me.
Okay. Why are you here, man? Why are you taking
To
pictures?
take pictures of a public building.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I am. We got an issue up here. Hang on.
He's...
Just keep recording, SEK.
We got some guy up here.
What are you guys doing up here?
Walking around taking pictures inside.
Because right now you guys are you're filming a jail. It's a federal holding facility. And it looks like you guys are trying to plan some kind of escape or something.
Do not stop recording.
I'm not planning an escape for anybody. You know.
Until we know what's going on, go ahead and you can go ahead and stop it. Because I'm going to go
I
ahead
don't.
and
I
take
don't.
you.
No, you're not taking my phone.
I am taking your phone.
No, you're not.
Until we know what you're doing.
The only thing I got on me is
I
got a cold.
You guys are out here.
I understand that. And have you ever heard of the First Amendment?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then what law are
That's
we
called
breaking?
freedom of speech. You guys are
Anything in your pocket?
filming a
No, sir.
facility that is a
I'm not
federal
consenting to any of these search and
You
procedures,
cannot
but
be back under the area where you just were filming like you guys just were.
Sir, what's your name?
So until we know,
I don't have a name, sir.
you were both back there because I watched
I'm
you out
a
the
United
back window.
States
I
citizen.
understand that, but I wasn't filming.
I am not a sovereign
You were
citizen. I
both
am a United
back
States
there.
citizen.
He was filming, and you were back there with him. So you were both back there together. So until we know what it is that you guys are doing, you are being detained.
I'm not being detained.
You are. Go ahead and put your hands behind your
No,
back.
I'm not.
Hey, don't you take her property. SEK, hold on to it. Wow.
Listen, man, you can't be doing this. Okay?
What part of this is illegal? Recording a public building is not illegal, sir. It's not a public
Refusing to identify
It is
yourself is illegal. Okay, we can keep you until we identify you. Okay, this is not something that is acceptable. You know that.
It is totally acceptable. We live in a free country, sir.
No.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Electronics. We don't know what they are. People blow up public buildings every day.
That is
You're
not.
staying here till we figure out what's going on, or till you want to talk to us.
What crime do you submit? What crime do you submit? What crime do you suspect me of committing?
These guys sound like.
Want to have them open the solid port somebody and.
Yep.
Hey,
both of them.
roll, can you roll my windows up?
Which one's yours?
And right here. Roll it up and lock it for me.
Yep. Upstairs. You can ID. They've got a car around here somewhere. They didn't just walk up. Huh? They've got a car around here somewhere. They didn't just walk up. Just keep going. What's that?
You see one of the windows up and the door locked. I don't know if he's got a clicker or
what. This is vehicle?
That's my vehicle.
Oh, Miller did?
Well, I don't know yet. I got to shut his door and lock it. But hey!
Miller! No. Pull it. Pull it over here where I parked.
like a dipshit, huh?
No shit. Pull his car up here too. We gotta find this dude's car. Huh? We need to find this dude's car. He didn't just walk up. He's parked somewhere. Let me put this inside. Kelly called me and said he was up front at first. And then he started walking
when I went to the back to see if Jake was back there, I look out the window and I see this dude fucking back there recording the fucking he's recording up on the windows.
Yeah,
he's recording up on the fucking where the inmates come out. I'm like, hell no, he's trying to plan some shit.
Yeah. Let me get my coat on.
All right, from yesterday again, another video that may have be a more collective interest.
WDRN Productions and WDRN production staff may be considered complete works of fiction. Any similarity to reality is only due to the dimensional rift in the perspective vortex. Please adjust your perspective vortex translator devices for enjoyable listening pleasure. WDRN can take no responsibility for improperly adjusted perspective vortex translations and currently operating at the frequency of somatic 900 megahertz.
Hello, welcome. I'm going to let some people break in here. This is a live show. So you decide. You going to be a zombie? Or are you going to wake up and join the crowd that's fighting them?
Ruff. Oh, you being too big. Hey, you're not going to get nothing being that big. No, you got to be little. Little. They are dying. The tanks and their guns and their bombs and their guns in your head, in your head. They are just fighting in your head. Walk my ass. Just one. One, look at it. Lay down. You just came here. Boiling down to something. It's time some people woke up. Here, I can tell you what actually happened. After I let the dog out. The dog has to go for a walk.
Happy Fuck the Cops Day.
Happy Fuck the Cops Day, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for calling.
I'm trying to make my way down the list. You know, there's a lot of folks that want calls, so I've just been kind of grabbing one off the list each day.
You're awesome. Thank you for calling. We've progressed a lot here. I'm changing gears first of the year. We're actually going to be starting to take action.
Outstanding. That's outstanding. So I've now served 10% of my sentence for riding on a sidewalk with chalk.
Okay.
So yes, and I have made a New Year's resolution that I'm willing to publish.
Oh,
I hereby solemnly resolve that I have learned my lesson. I have learned my lesson about sidewalk chalk, and I promise Mark Brostrom, the prosecutor in the city of Waste Monster, Colorado, and Herb Atchis, that's double SS Atchison, the mayor of Waste Monster, Colorado, and all of the fine citizens of Waste Monster, Colorado, you have my word that I will never, ever, ever chalk the sidewalks of Westminster until I get out of jail. And after that, they're going to fucking choke on it.
Well, I think that we might be able to accomplish a violation of that oath that you just took by robotics, if you like.
Okay, so then I am now moving the phone in the shape of a middle finger that says, fuck Mayor Atchison. And if that can be robotically generated on the sidewalk in front of City Hall, then I hereby violate my oath.
I bet you that there might be a remote we have out there somewhere that just might pull that off for you. Eric, thank you very much for calling in. As I understand, you've been denied access to a legal library. Is that true?
I was not given proper access to the legal library. That's correct. And I filed a grievance about it. So I'm on a pod that doesn't have a legal kiosk in the pod, whereas the other minimum pods do. And so you have to sign up on a list. You have to sign up on the list on Sunday, and that puts you on the list for an hour of legal library time, which is on a kiosk, 2 weeks away from then. So I missed that sign up, not knowing what to do on that. But I will tell you that as far as the legal kiosk is concerned, they have instructed me that I can ask the tower at any time, and if there's not somebody up there already and they don't have anything else going on, you know, if they've got the coverage for it, then they'll let me use that law kiosk. And I have tested that and used it. So as far as that's concerned, they have worked around on that. What I did file a grievance on the other day, however, was that I do not have access to the Colorado Model Jury Instruction. And if you don't know what COLJI is, that's C-O-L-J-I, the Colorado Model Jury Instructions are published by the Colorado Supreme Court. And these are the actual instructions that are given to jurors before they go in to deliberate on a case. And so these are essential for me to have access to. It is an electronic document, of course, because that's the way we are today. And it's about 3,000 pages. That is not available on a legal kiosk. I filed a grievance to that effect 2 nights ago at about 9 o'clock at night. And by 9 o'clock the next morning, I was barred from accessing the grievance system, which is also the commissary and kiosk and whatnot. So I have now been locked out of accessing that mechanism, and I'm not very happy about it. And
Well, I
they've
wouldn't
been
be
kicking
either.
me around on it. So
So
if
that
anybody
still
were to
hasn't
make
been-
phone calls to the Adams County attorney, her name is Heidi Miller, and let her know that, you know, I'm getting better and better at this as time goes on, right? I'm not a lawyer, but I am getting better at it. And they're creating enough issues for me here, and I only have to win one.
That's correct.
So what I actually require is compliance. I require fair, appropriate treatment. I require that treatment for myself as well as any of my fellow inmates.
That's correct.
So for every day that they make my life miserable in here, they can expect at least a month of misery when I get out.
Oh, I guarantee it. That's how I got started in this. They falsely arrested me, and every month that I was there, I filed another lawsuit for another inmate, just making sure it's worth their while.
Yeah, well, when I was in Denver for 73 days, I filed 167 grievances and 1 federal civil rights lawsuit.
Wow. Well,
And,
you never back down. You've never backed down.
Well, it depends on what you say as far as back down. I never give up, but I have reached resolutions. For example, in Denver, the Denver sheriff, Patrick Furman, he admitted fault on a number of my questions, and I abandoned my litigation against him because he actively engaged me in conversation. He took accountability for the issues, and they are in various phases of implementing change, some of which has already been implemented, some of which is still coming down the pike, based on that communication and based on it. So I would hesitate to say that I never back down, because I think that that is sort of a back down, but I don't think that that's a back down in the negative sense. I think that that is a resolution. I think that that's the way things should be done. I think that's what community really looks like. And that's precisely the behavior that I expect and will exact from Adams County, no matter how expensive and painful their education becomes.
I can tell you one thing: it's not something that that can be entered into all these public records and be continued to ignore. There has to be an AG somewhere that'll pick up half of this case.
No, let me dispel some rumors about the Attorney General. First of all, Cynthia Coffman is quite possibly the actual Antichrist incarnate. So even if she were to, but even if she were to actually comply with the law and her duties, the function of the Attorney General is to represent the state, to protect the state's interest. The Attorney General is not there for you. Don't ever make that mistake. People think that they can do that. People constantly want to contact the Attorney General for this or that. What the Attorney General is doing is collecting a database of information necessary to defend the state against whatever claim, legitimate or not, that you may try to bring against one of her agencies. I am encouraged by Peter Weir, not Peter Weir, that's the Jefferson County District Attorney, by Phil Weisner. Phil Weiser, I think is his name. Phil Weiser is the new Attorney General-elect. And I'm actually very encouraged by what he had to say and by his history. So we may have a changing of the guard with the Attorney General that tends to be more public-friendly, but nevertheless, make no mistake, their job, their client is the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason. One of the reasons why we have more power as pro se is because we're not representing anything other than our person. And that invokes all the positive law along with it.
I wish that more people would educate themselves on legal matters and do more pro se work. I do find pro se work to be very fulfilling. Not necessarily very successful, but very fulfilling. You know, there's a large learning curve. There's no question that 10 years and $500,000 in education does make a person more comfortable and more competent with the legal arenas. There's no question that a licensed attorney has some level of competence, even those who graduated in the bottom 90% of their class, which, by the way, is 90% of all attorneys, graduated in the bottom 90% of their class. And you know, but it's so what I want to say is I value my lawyers, my good lawyers. I'm very intolerant of bad lawyers. I don't tolerate them very well anymore. I've got one right now that I think may be problematic. I need to have another discussion with that person. I'm not going to say who it is or where it is because I haven't made my decision yet. But don't put up with lousy lawyers, but don't discount their value either. You know, my lawyer is a team with me. If he can't be my teammate, then he can't be on my team.
Well, I've seen where a lawyer is just simply an advisor, and you can still remain pro se as well.
There are occasions where that's permitted, and remember, you can always fire your lawyer at the moment of trial too.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I have done that before. But I will tell you that my success in the criminal arena as a pro se defendant has been not one really to brag about. One to brag about in the sense that, for example, in Denver with Judge Rogers, I lost an appeal where the question was that he had denied me counsel, and the appellate court said that I wasn't denied my right to effective assistance to counsel because I did a particularly good job as a pro se defendant. Well, not good enough, apparently. But and I have had a lot of judges and lawyers that have, you know, I had a judge flat out tell me in 32 years on the bench, I've never seen a pro se litigant as competent and capable as you, Mr. Brandt. And many have suggested that I go to law school. I'll tell you why I'm not going to get my bar license. It's because I can be sanctioned.
Well, I'll tell you what I tell you what I would do if I were you. What I would do is go ahead and at least get up to like a legal aid and then run for office. I'd like to see you mayor of Denver.
I don't think I could possibly be mayor of Denver. I wouldn't
well,
allow
we'll
that
get
many
you a nice
things
hat.
attached to me.
I know what it takes is a hat, right?
Well, the appropriate headgear, actually, for me, is my religious headgear. I am an ordained minister with the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and the appropriate headgear and the photograph that I'll be taking when I renew my license, when I get out here, is going to be a nice, shiny, chrome-plated spaghetti strainer.
I see.
So.
Okay, well, what I was going to say is I was just going to get you a nice top hat, and that's all it takes in order to declare yourself a mayor. You don't have to behave any particular way or anything. You just are a mayor. That's right.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, misbehavior seems to be the best qualification for mayor. If you take a look at Herb Atchison with the city of Waste Monster, Colorado, for example, it's very obvious that appropriate, lawful, and intelligent behavior is totally not part of the job description.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
I will tell you that Reagan, is it, what is her name, Reagan?
Regan.
Regan. And,
Yes.
Okay.
As in Regal.
Okay, she's been doing an awesome job keeping updates with you as well. I've been monitoring.
Yes, I have a visit with her in about 5 minutes, as a matter of fact.
Okay, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate you calling in today, sharing that. We're going to be continuing to feature what's going on with you. And
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate. I mean, this is just one of those another dedicated person going a long way around.
Thank you. I'd like to do a shout out today, since we're going to be cut off here in about a minute anyway, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I am trying to make all my phone calls, but I'm trying to limit myself to. I have to make my daily check-in with AK Lady, but then my other phone call of the day is I've got a long list of people. So today I'd like to do a shout out to Brian Loma. I'd like to do a shout out to Janet Matson.
1
And I'd
minute
like to do a
remaining.
shout out to News Now Colorado and to Brian King. So if I can do those shout outs, you guys, I'll get to you on the list eventually. But I have to ration myself so that I still have a phone call on my last day.
You're awesome, man. We're going to do what we can for you out here, too.
The phone calls are effective. If they've got you on hold for 20 minutes, then that's effective.
We have the ghost of Eric Brandt visiting the bakery daily as well. The chant is still there.
I heard that. I'd do a shout out to Brian Johnson's daughter. I understand she did a fantastic chalk drawing of me down at the corner bakery. So I haven't seen pictures of it yet, but I can't wait. So,
Yes, it should be awesome. You're going to love it,
thank you very
Eric.
much, sir.
Hey,
They're
thank
gonna
you for
cut us off
carrying
in
the
a second.
torch.
You bet I will. Burn, baby, burn.
You're awesome, Eric. Thank you for your dedication.
Happy fuck the cops.
There we go. That was Eric Brandt calling in from jail. Thank you very much, Eric. This is a story we're going to be following diligently, only because he is one of those that is not talking about it. He's not out there causing drama. He's exposing drama. And we're going to continue to support people that assist the homeless. I've been there too many times myself. The answers are there. The problem is there's a Rube Goldberg machine trying to get to them. And as soon as you come down to a certain level, there really is no way out. There's no way of digging out. And depending on your age, the older you are, the less likely you won't be on the street. So, it's something that I've faced. I faced it more than once in my life, to be homeless. My definition of homeless is a little bit different than yours. If I have a job at working at a shop and I have to sleep in the back of the shop in order to have a place to sleep, well, that ain't homeless to me. It would be to most people. But you have no idea, without any other obligations like family and stuff like that in order to take care of, how convenient it is in order to wake up, put your feet on the ground, and be actually at work. No preparation necessary. I've enjoyed that without bills and stuff like that, and was able to use the money for other things. And I did a really good job on it. I'm going to go ahead and end this, so this recording with Eric Brandt is saved at the end here. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and restart the stream after this. Thank you for tuning in. May your God be with you. Oh, I got to play this real quick. I don't know if it played earlier.
Wdrn Productions and Wdrn Production staff may be considered complete works of fiction. Any similarity to reality is only due to the dimensional rift in the perspective vortex. Please adjust your perspective vortex translator devices for enjoyable listening pleasure. Wdrn can take no responsibility for improperly adjusted perspective vortex translations and currently operating at the frequency of somatic 900 megahertz.
5 to 1 against and falling, 4 to 1 against and falling, 3 to 1, 2, 1, probability factor of 1 to 1. We have normality. I repeat, we have normality. Anything you still can't cope with is therefore your own problem. Please relax.